A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Hey, Abbott, what time is it?
It's time for the Abbott and Costello Show. We're on the air for ABC here in Hollywood.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go with the Abbott and Costello Show.
Yes, it's the Abbott and Costello Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood for your listening and laughing pleasure. Chuckles with a carload and music by Matty Malney. So hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
All right, stop that racket. Where have you been all afternoon?
Well, I've been all afternoon. I took a tour of the movie stars' homes. I passed Gregory Peck's house and said, gee, I'd like to have his Cadillac. Then I passed Clark Gable's house and I said, gee, I'd like to have his yacht. Then I passed Harry James' house and I said...
Yes?
What would I do with his trumpet? You know, I shouldn't be kidding, Abbott. I mean, after all, I got a threatening letter today. Somebody wants to kill me. That's why I got this.
How many people listen to you every week, Costello?
Well, let me see. You only get about 12 million.
That's amazing.
Then I got... Oh, you mean that I got so many listeners?
No, now that you only got one threatening letter.
Show me where it says that in the script. Show me where it says that in the script. Well, never mind. What are you going to do about the letter? Oh, that's your line. Excuse me.
Never mind. What are you going to do about the letter?
That's where I heard it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what are you going to do about the letter, Lou?
Well, the person that sent me the letter, he may be in the audience tonight. I'm going to search everybody out there. I'm going to start with that blonde in the front row.
No. Don't be silly, Costello. A beautiful girl like that wouldn't be carrying a gun.
You look for what you like, and I'll look for what I like.
You are so ignorant and stupid, you wouldn't pay any attention to the letter.
Oh, stupid and ignorant. I was very smart in school. When the teacher asked a question, I was always the first one to raise my hand.
You are?
And sometimes it was to answer the question.
Hey, wait a minute, boys. Here's a serious-looking fella trying to get a word in edgewise. Let's see what he has to say.
Stop that yelling. Come over here. What have you been doing in that telephone booth all afternoon?
Well, I'm giving a big party tomorrow night. It's New Year's Eve, you know. And I've just got to get Earl Flynn and Hedy Lamarr as my guest of honor.
Why do you have to have Earl Flynn and Hedy Lamarr?
Well, you see, Abbott, this year New Year's Eve comes on Friday night. Friday night. And I can't serve any meat. So I thought it would be kind of nice to have Flynn and Hedy. Well, never mind that. Is your brother Pat going to have a nice New Year's this year?
Oh, yes.
You know, this is the first year since he's been out of the Navy, Lou.
Yes, he's very happy about it. The Veterans Committee got him an apartment for $250 a month.
Does he like Does he like it?
Yes, him and his wife and his baby and his father-in-law and his mother-in-law are all living there in one room.
Well, isn't it kind of crowded?
Only at night when the landlord backs his car in.
You mean that Pat is living in a garage and paying $250 a month? That's ridiculous. I bet I could rent that same garage for $50 a month.
Yeah, but you ain't a veteran.
You can say that again.
Why should I say that again? It didn't get a laugh the first time.
Custer, I don't know why I even talked to you. Why don't you pack up your things and go where all other morons go?
That's silly, Abbott. What would I do in Washington?
Well, never mind that. I want you to remember that 1949 is only a couple of days off. And I hope that next year you'll settle down and get married.
What for?
You should get married. Don't you miss being married? Don't you miss having a little woman around the house?
No. I hang wet nylons in the bathroom. I scatter bobby pins all over the floor. I smear all my towels with lipstick. And you'll be surprised how I don't notice there isn't a woman around.
Well, if you come to my house tomorrow night, I'm having quite a party, and I'll introduce you to some nice girls.
Well, I can't, Abbott. You see, we're having a party at my Uncle Mike's house, and I can't wait to play that new game he invented. This game will take the place of jigsaw puzzles.
How do you play it?
Well, you open up a can of crushed pineapple and try to put the pieces together.
But are you going to play any other game?
Oh, sure. We play the regular game we play at our house every New Year's Eve. It's called Scotch Punch.
How do you play? How do you play that?
I punch the first guy that touches the scotch.
Will your Uncle Mike be at the party?
I don't think so, Abbott. He's in jail for reckless driving. You know, the sheriff won't let him out.
He won't?
No.
Well, if the sheriff won't let him out, you know the mayor, DeVita. You know him,
Mayor
don't you?
DeVita?
Yeah.
Oh, sure I know.
Well, why don't you call him? Maybe he could swing it. You must know somebody that can swing it.
I think I'll call Carmen Miranda.
Carmen Miranda. She don't even know the sheriff.
I know, but brother, can she swing it?
Oh, Mr. Costello, you've got to help me.
What's the matter, young man?
Well, my wife wants to send me to a sanitarium.
Why?
Because I like French fried potatoes.
What's wrong with that, young man? I love French fried potatoes myself.
You do, Mr. Costello?
Certainly.
Then you must come over to my house. I've got trunks and trunks just full of French fried potatoes.
You know, Abbott, he looks familiar to me. I think I saw him at the $2 win at the Bank of America.
Wait a minute. I've heard of a paying window, a receiving window, and a loan window, but since when have they got a $2 window at the Bank of America?
Ever since the president went out to Santa Anita, saw the business are doing with theirs. You ought to go out to the racetrack, Abbott. It runs like a machine.
A machine?
Yeah, vacuum cleaner. The only place in the world where the windows clean the people.
I hope you'll pardon the intrusion, boys, but you remember me. I was candidate for representative from your district.
Oh, politician Harry Brown.
Yes, gentlemen, yes. The same Harry Brown that promised to clean up the city, close up all the pool halls, bring back prohibition, and finish the Hollywood freeway.
Mr. Brown, what are you doing now?
Nothing. I was elected.
By the way, Costello, I want to thank you for inviting my wife and sister, Babe, to the Rose Bowl with you next New Year's Day. But I still can't understand why you invited her.
Very simple, Abbott. Both your wife and your sister, Babe, have peroxide blonde hair.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, they're all out of tickets, and I figured I'd better bring my own bleachers.
Well, good evening, boys.
Well, look, Costello, it's our secretary, Viola Vaughn.
Well, ha-ha! Viola Vaughn, you give me the wrong place, kid.
Costello, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Viola's only been in California a short time, and should try to make her feel at home. Say something nice to her.
All right, Viola, old girl, it's been frightfully nice seeing you again. Frightfully nice.
Oh, thank you, and it's been frightful seeing you again.
Quiet, Costello. Let me handle it. Viola, you look très charmante tonight.
Oui, oui, and ooh la la.
Do you speak French?
Oh, I get around. Listen to this. Chevrolet Coupe, Griffith Park.
Costello. That wouldn't get you very far in France.
Yeah, I'd do pretty good with Glendale, though.
Pay no attention to him, Viola. How would you like to come over to my house New Year's Eve for a little late supper?
Is it going to be a buffet?
Is it going to be what?
Buffet.
Abbott, don't be a dope. You know what buffet is? That's French for let's go to the table and slug it all among ourselves.
On second thought, Costello, I don't think I want you at my house on New Year's Eve. Your table manners are atrocious.
Oh, Mr. Abbott, let him come over to our house. Costello, you just watch me. I have perfect table manners.
Well, is that so? Well, there's one thing I've been meaning to ask you. Every time you drink coffee, you always stick your finger straight out. What's that for?
Well, that's where you hang the wet donuts.
Viola, that was very, very funny, and all I can say to you is what the skunk would say to his brother.
What did the skunk?
I still would like to know what page you're on.
What did the skunk say to his brother?
I beg your pardon?
What did the skunk say?
All right, folks, we all go back to page 16.
What did the skunk say to his brother?
Got your teeth back in, eh?
Answer the question, yes or no.
I'll just have it just once more.
What did the skunk say to his brother?
You do, too.
You do.
Don't get mad, Costello.
Well, get mad. I'm happy. Continue.
This is the end of the new year and New Year's Eve.
The end of the old year, dear.
Could have been the end of the script.
What did you say, honey?
This is the end of the old year and New Year's Eve. Now I'm going to give you the hottest, burning, sizzlingest kiss you've ever had.
You are?
Yes.
Attention, New York and Chicago. Stay tuned in. This may be just what you need to melt the snow off your streets.
Costello, I've come to the conclusion that you are the most unintelligent, ignorant, stupid nincompoop in the state of California.
Well, a fella's got to make good at something. I still like that skunker-hunker line of yours.
Viola, we're starting a new year in a few days, and I'd like you to stay with us as our secretary. You like the job, don't you?
Well, Mr. Abbott, I don't really know. You see, I was a secretary for an insurance man, then I worked in a bank. But my mother is a little skeptical about my working for Hollywood actors.
Viola, has your mother been telling you that old stuff about how actors are all wolves? That they do nothing but chase girls and go to parties, and that they're all up all night whooping and hollering, and that no self-respecting girl should associate with them?
Well, yes, she has.
Well, do you want to know something?
What?
She's so right.
I hate to break it up, man, but it's time to change the subject for just about 60 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, all over the world, let's end this year on a good note. Here's Hal Winter singing with Matty Malnick's orchestra a very beautiful ballad entitled
Dancing in the dark till the tune ends. We're dancing in the dark, and it soon ends. We're waltzing in the wonder of why we're here. Time hurries by, we're here and gone, looking for the light of a new love to brighten up the night. I have you, love, and we can face the music together, dancing in the dark. What though love is old, what though song is old, through them we can be young. Hear this heart of mine, make yours part of mine, dear one. Tell me that we're one. Till the tune ends, we're dancing in the dark. I have you, love, and we can face the music together, dancing in the
Come over here. What are you writing in that little book?
I beg your pardon?
What are you writing in that little book?
What are you perspiring for?
I'm asking you, Costello, here. What are you writing in that little book?
I got 4 New Year's resolutions written in here, Abbott. For 1949, here's what I'm going to do. Resolution number 1, I resolve to improve my handwriting.
Now, that's good. What is number 2?
How do you like that? I can't read it.
Well, skip it. What's number 3?
Love thy neighbor.
And number 4?
Move next door to Hedy Lamarr.
Why don't you make up a sensible list of resolutions?
Well, I'm only kidding, but I got a sensible list. Listen to this. Number 1, give up going to nightclubs. Number 2, give up going with girls. Number 3, give up resolutions number 1 and number 2.
Talk, Sam, please.
I like the one about love thy neighbor.
Yeah. But where are you going to spend New Year's Eve, Lou?
Well, I could go to Ava Gardner's party. There's only one thing that's stopping me.
What's that?
She didn't invite me.
That shows you how popular you are with the girls.
Personally, I don't care about girls.
You don't, huh?
Just so I'm popular with my Sam Shovel detective fans. The listeners love me, Abbott. Just listen to this note I got today. Dear Lou Costello, a Sam Shovel private detective, you are wonderful. You kill me. If you ain't the funniest guy on the radio, I'm a monkey's uncle. I'm coming to the studio tonight.
Mr. Costello, there's someone here to see you.
Show the man in.
It's no man, just a monkey with his uncle.
Well, never mind him, Costello. What is your Sam Shovel detective mystery about tonight?
It's one of my greatest cases, Abbott. I call it the murder at the radio quiz show, or I've got a body in a balcony, Doctor.
Oh, that sounds like a dandy. Let's do it.
Right. We'll do it. Yes, I'm Sam Shovel. Sam Shovel, private detective. I'll take any kind of a case. If you need a detective to shadow somebody, call me. If you need evidence for a divorce, call me. If you need a detective with courage and fortitude, call me. If your life is threatened by a mob of desperate armed criminals and you need somebody to shoot it out with them, there's plenty of other detectives you can call. As I sit here at my desk, I decide to read. I pick up my newspaper. It's the Herald Express. I see an ad for California grapefruit. You can always tell it genuine California grapefruit. If it don't squirt juice, it squirts fog. While reading, I decide to smoke. I reach for my old Indian peace pipe. It's a genuine old Indian peace pipe. Instead of tobacco, it's filled with pieces of old Indians. I glance out the window at the beautiful secretary across the hall. She's wearing a new mean coat she got for Christmas. She got that mean coat the hard way. The hard way. She bought it herself. I hear a strange sound coming from the dentist's office next door.
Molars, right face. Bicuspid. Squad's left.
He's drilling somebody's teeth. My ceiling just cracked. A piece of plaster fell on my desk. There's something written on the plaster. It's as wide as a chicken crossed the street. It's corn plaster. My ceiling is full of old cracks. So are my riders. On my wall, I notice a picture of Trigger Finger Tessie. What a girl. She shot from the hip and she could hit anything. Then one day she bought a gun. But she threw it away. She found out she could hit more people with a hip. Tessie was a gun moll. Every time she started to pull a job, I cooked her goose. In Cleveland, I cooked her goose. In Boston, I cooked her goose. In Albany, I cooked her goose. And one day, she asked me to marry her. She said, Sam, nobody can cook a goose like you. I gave her a job as my secretary, but she never could get any work done. In the office, she was a bottleneck. Every time I opened a bottle, she'd want a neck. Well, here I am all alone, and it's New Year's Eve. I look out at the window at the crowds in the street. What a racket. Everybody's celebrating. Half the men have noisemakers. The other half left their wives home. In the crowd, I see my pal, Lieutenant Abbott of the Homicide Squad. Abbott is a shrewd cop, but he's very tight with money. He gave his wife a bottle of perfume for Christmas. The perfume was so cheap that when she put on her fur coat, 2 moths flew out, hole in her nose. Lieutenant Abbott is a drinking man. And how? He loves beer. But in 1949, he's going on a wagon. Not because he wants to quit drinking, but he figures if he goes on a wagon, he'll have to be that much closer to the beer. Suddenly, my office door opened.
Hello, Sam Shovel. Happy New Year. Where have you been? I haven't seen you all week.
I've been helping out with the Christmas rush at Nancy's department store. They fired me. I made a mistake. I took a sign-off address and put it on a bathtub.
What did the sign say?
How would you like to see your girl in this for $1.98?
Never mind that, Sam. Are you coming to my house to play poker?
None of your wife is going to play.
What's the matter with my wife? She's a great poker player. My wife has a real poker face.
Every time I see her, I want a poker face.
What a New Year's Eve. The police department is going nuts with a traffic problem. I wonder how Officer McShane is doing on Hollywood and Vine.
Officer McShane is now at Sunset and Figueroa.
Who moved him away down there?
Brand new red Hudson going 90 miles an hour.
Forget about that. Are you going to a nightclub to celebrate New Year's Eve?
Not me, Lieutenant Abbott. It's too expensive. I went to a Hollywood nightclub Saturday night. Ringside tables were $50. The last row was $25. Cost $5 way back at the bar. I paid 50 cents.
Could you see the show?
Yes, I did. But it was very annoying. All night long, some guy kept brushing me off with a whisk broom.
Look, why didn't you come to my house tonight, Sam? It'll be a swell party. Bring that cute little redhead you met yesterday.
I had her out last night. We went to Griffith Park and sat on a bench. Every time I kissed her, she pulled her hair out of her head.
Well, bring her to the party.
Lieutenant, how would it look for me to walk into your house with a bald-headed girl? I know who I'll bring. Gertie. Gertie, she's a swell at a party. She's a scream.
Does she play piano?
No.
Does she sing?
No.
What does she do?
She screams.
Where's Sam Shovel? Where's Sam Shovel, the great detective? I gotta see Sam Shovel.
Oh, please, calm down, sir. What's the matter?
Please.
There's something on your mind?
There must be something on his mind. There's nothing on his head.
Stop joking, Sam Shovel. You've got to help me, please. There's something the matter with my wife. She's asleep. I can't wake her up. Sam, I can't wake up my wife.
Have you tried shaking her?
Shaking her? I've been doing better than that. For the past 2 hours, I've been hitting her on the head with a hammer.
Sam, it's New Year's Eve. Forget you're a detective. Let's go to my house for a New Year's party. Well, Sam, how are you enjoying the party?
Fine.
Attention, everybody. We're going to play games. Now, everybody's got to get up and do something to entertain.
Hey, let Sam Shovel get up first.
Hey, Sam Shovel, come on. Friends and countrymen and other stuff that goes with it. I'll do the best I can to entertain you. But remember, I'm just a private detective. I'm not an entertainer.
You can say that again.
Who's that, Lieutenant?
The president of ABC. I had to invite him.
As I said before, friends, I'll do my best to entertain you. How would you like to see some of my famous magic tricks? Okay,
Sam.
Okay, now, Lieutenant Abbott, may I borrow your handkerchief? Thank you. Now, Mr. President of ABC, may I borrow your watch?
Okay, here. But be careful with it. My wife gave it to me for Christmas.
Good. Now watch me carefully. First I wrap the watch in the handkerchief. I tie 4 knots in the handkerchief. Now I place it on the floor and jump up and down on it like this.
Hey, what kind of a trick is that? You busted my watch to pieces.
Yes, but I want you to notice. There's not one wrinkle in the handkerchief.
Get him out of here!
Will have the last word as usual. But before they go, we'd like you to ponder this.
Costello, the next show we do will be next year.
Yes, folks, and I'd like to wish all of our listeners health, wealth, and prosperity in 1949.
And that goes for all the folks that work for us. Matty Malnick and his fine crew of musicians, and our vocalist, Hal Winters.
And don't forget Viola Vaughn and our writing staff, which is headed by Eddie Foreman with Paul Conlon, Pat Costello, Martin Ragaway, and Len Stern.
And our producer, Charles Vanda. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody, and Happy New Year to everybody in Patterson, New Jersey, and all over the world. Happy New Year, Mother, and everybody.
Listen each Thursday night at this time for another great Abbott and Costello show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood. Be sure to stay tuned for the outstanding entertainment which follows throughout the evening on this ABC station.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective.
Date, fill it in. To Detective Lieutenant Dundee, Homicide Detail, San Francisco Police, from Samuel Spade, license number 17596. Subject, the Betrayal in Bumpass Hell. Red Gillis was a raw-boned folk from the border country. He was a stranger to Bumpass Hell, but he was no stranger to trouble. He jogged his Pinto down the narrow main street, not liking what he saw, and reined up in front of the sheriff's office. He dismounted and slapped the trail dust off his Levi's. Then he hitched up his gun belt and ambled inside. He looked at the heavy-shouldered, blue-jowled man behind the desk, and he didn't like what he saw. Neither did the sheriff, Rance Blaggett. State your business. I can do it better than that. State your business and get out, he snarled. Red smiled thinly and drawled, I'm looking for my brother. And what be your name outside of Red? Here, I can do that better than that. And what be your name outside of Red? Red Gillis's hand slid toward one of his six-shooters as silently as the sun coming up over the butte. Gillis, he sneered. Red Gillis from the Tonto Rim. That's pretty good. The sheriff's muscles tightened like steel springs and pulled him erect. Ain't no Tonto Rimmer welcome hereabouts in Bumpass Hell, he cursed. That was real good. And then the slap of 4 hands on leather was followed by the simultaneous roar of 4 6-guns. Hey, wait a minute. The sheriff...
I know they're in there.
Well, who is it? The sheriff is just...
Mr. Spade. Miss Hilton next door.
Right in the most exciting part.
Mr. Spade, now see here. I won't take no for an answer. It wouldn't be neighborly.
What is it, Mrs. Kelsey?
Never you mind, come along. What are you up to here, anyway?
Oh, me? Oh, nothing. I'm just relaxing with an apple and a good book, that's all.
I don't see no apple, and the only reading matter I see is some western trash.
Trash?
Now, come on. There's trouble on the 3rd floor.
Well, there's trouble in Bumpass Hell.
Don't just swear at me.
I'm not...
I know my duty, and I know your duty. Now, come on.
Oh, it's okay. Let go of my ear. And that, Dundee, so help me, is how it started. Effie had just read a book called How to Relax, and it said there that Western stories were relaxing, and that's how I happened to be at home at 10 p.m., writing herd on a copy of Sheriff and Outlaw, rip-roaring adventures of the Old West. But Bumpass Hell hath no fury like my neighbor, Mrs. Kelsey. I left Red Gillis and the sheriff face to face and vice versa, eyes flashing and guns ablaze, and followed her meekly up to the 3rd floor.
Sorry to hear that. Been at it for 3 hours they have. Won't be a stick of furniture left in the room, less than their shop.
You speak to them?
Did I speak to them? You see this lump? No, here, under my transformation.
Oh, well, why didn't you call a cop?
Well, it wouldn't be neighborly. It's me that did. You see this lump?
Yeah, you showed it to me. Put your wig back on. I'll see what I can do.
And tell them about my lump. It's evident.
Yeah, put it back. Hey, open up.
I would not go back with you if you was the last man alive.
Hey, open up.
Have it your own way. If I can't do it, I'll swear again. I'll tell you. You hide, you boy, you rotter, you cheap grifter, you. Will you slam out of here before I'm forced to seek the assistance of a couple of flatties? Do not try anything fancy behind my back, you big slob. From now on, you and me is strictly on the cool beady. Well, you unprincipled. Hey, let go of me.
Don't throw it.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't I remember you from someplace?
No, I'm only being neighborly. Why did you beat up on kind, nice Mrs. Kelsey?
That is a gross falsehood. I did not lay a hand on the old wag. It was that odious stinker, Joe Donegan, who was just left. And you can tell him, as for me, that I'm extremely unimpressed with his cheap threats to rub me out, and that I intend to continue on seeing Mr. Hobson or any other Johns which I care to.
That's pretty good singing.
Oh.
Well, you better tell him that yourself. I don't imagine I'll be seeing him.
You won't? Hey, wait a minute. Who are you, anyway?
Just another tenant. I live downstairs.
Oh, well, now I recall whom you are. You are that Seamus, which lives on the 2nd floor rear.
Shamus, we call it in the radio.
Seamus. Would you care to come in and discuss a certain matter?
Well, thanks. Another time. I got to get back to Bumpass Hell.
Whoever she is, let her cool her heels for a few moments.
No, you don't understand.
This is an urgent matter which I would like to hash over right now and without further delay.
Well,
May I invite you in for a straight slug?
Well, okay, but just one. In a glass.
All right, make yourself comfy. Now, say when.
Just after the lipstick mark.
Here you are. Well, now to make a long story short, Mrs. Spade, my name is Rosemary Fell, which remains my stage name, notwithstanding the circumstance. But I am legally married to that barnacle which has just dusted this joint. Now, being as you are in the detective business...
Now, wait a minute.
Kindly permit me to finish, honey.
Sorry, sweetheart.
I'm not the type to jaw about my troubles just to pass the time of day.
I'm sure you are.
I am an actress.
I knew that.
And although I'm low in funds, due to being between jobs right now, on account of that knothead making a scene in the last joint at which I worked. Cheap ginger ale. Just to show you how the breaks fall, Mr. Spade, Belinda Wilkerson, who just happens to be about the biggest talent agent in this city, if you have the time,
I'm impressed.
phoned me on the telephone, and arranged an audition. She also advanced me the sum of 100 clams.
100?
Which I will pay you to put the B on that dog, Joe Donegan, the rat.
Now, which is he? What do you mean, put the B on him?
Listen, Sam, that grifter has got a record as long as my arm. And what I have got on him is longer than his arm.
Please.
In short, I should like him thrown into the can so that I can feel safe to sing on him.
Look, Rosemary, so you had a fight with Joe. You're sore. You want to pay him off. Now,
Right.
why don't you just wait until morning and see how you feel
Sam,
then?
listen to me. If that knuckle duster remains at large, I will be feeling no pain. Now, I know that from my flamboyant manner, you'd never guess it. But that is only the actress in me. In actuality, that flea intends to do me in.
Oh, now, come, Rosemary.
What? You disagree?
Well, now, really, Rosemary.
Why, a big pain in the neck.
Rosemary.
Drinking my... Pour that back in the bottle. Don, put it back in the bottle.
Well, I'll be going now. Only trying to be neighborly. Well, back to Bumpass Hell. Lance Blaggett, the smoking Colt still gripped in his hairy fists, suddenly pitched forward like a fallen Joshua tree at Red Gillis's feet. Red leaned over with a thin smile playing at the corners of his mouth, not liking what he saw, and lifted the badge off of Blaggett's cowhide vest and pinned it on his own. Bumpass Hell had a new sheriff. Hey. Then I heard it. It sounded like a man sneaking up a fire escape. I went over to the window, raised it, and looked up. I didn't like what I saw. An overcoated figure reached the third-floor landing and stood silhouetted against the lighted window of Rosemary's apartment. He was about the height and weight of that rat, Joe Donegan. By the time I'd rolled out the window onto the fire escape, his right hand had come out of his coat pocket. Donegan! Donegan, watch it! He was a floor ahead of me, and I didn't want to get too close to him until I passed that lighted window. He made the roof just as I crossed in front of it. The flashes from his revolver told me that. They also told me he had 2 slugs left to throw at me. The only light up there was a feeble glow from the skylight dead center. I headed for the cover of a brick chimney just to the left of it. I had 2 things in mind. The skylight was his most logical avenue of escape, and I hoped I could tease him into emptying his gun at me. It didn't work. I stuck my head out. No shots. But he did use his gun. I should have stood in Bumpass Hell.
The United States Armed Forces Radio Service is presenting the weekly adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade.
What did that rat do to you, the dog? Sam, speak to me.
Send an Indian to Sutter's Mill. Tell the governor the sheriff of Bumpass Hell is turning in his bag.
Listen, honey, you've got to pull yourself together now. Come on. These delirious humans will get us no place now. Come on, Sam.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Come on. Now, do not rush things, honey. That was quite a clip he gave you.
Yeah, where were you?
I was combing my hair out of the window.
Yeah, and he was on the fire escape, not 4 feet away. Not a very good shot, is he?
No, he isn't. Oh, Sam, look at your poor little head. Here, now, let me kiss it and make it well. Wild root.
Yeah, so, it gets me ahead socially and on the job.
Well, now, what next, Sam?
Rosemary, I am going to the top now. My dander is up. Let's have a moment of silence while I put through a call to Lieutenant Thomas Dundee of Homicide. It took your boys less than an hour to locate Joe Donegan and haul him in, Lieutenant. Rosemary's charges were not enough to hold him on attempted murder, and all I could identify was the back of his neck. But you were good enough to bag him anyway, so Rosemary and I could relax. I went downstairs to bed and started Chapter 4. Aha. Red Gillis didn't trust Curly Mallard, the foreman of the Crooked S. Aha. Unique Garage, Harry speaking.
Sam, this is Dundee.
Yeah. Dundee, what time is it?
8:30.
In the morning?
Yeah. Huh? Oh, yeah, it's daylight. Say, about that, what was his name?
Donegan?
Anyway, that fellow that we booked last night on your say-so.
Well, what about him?
That was a bad beef, Sam. How come?
You better tell me.
Man was alibied, Sam.
When did that happen?
Well, a fellow named, got it written down. Yeah, Hobson. Warner Hobson says Donegan was with him at the time.
Who else says so?
Hobson's words are good enough for the commissioner. Ran for assembly once.
Did you know he also ran for Donegan's wife?
You don't say. Well, that's a real puzzler, Sam.
The human mind is unpredictable, Dundee.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, I hope you figure it out, Sam.
While I was shaving, I thought and thought. I wondered what Red Gillis would have done if such a situation had cropped up in Bumpass hell. A thin smile began to play around the corners of my mouth as I climbed the stairs to Rosemary's apartment. When I got there, I didn't like what I saw. There was a note pinned to the door. It said, Dear Sam, I have been called to do another audition. If anything crops up, you can reach me at Grace Room 34292.
The Delita Wilkerson Talent Agency?
I want to speak to Rosemary Fell. Hello?
Yes, I'm still on the line. Who's calling, please?
Sam Spade.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spade. Miss Fell can't come to the phone.
Who's in charge there?
This is Miss Wilkerson speaking.
Yeah, well, why can't she come to the phone?
She's in the middle of her audition.
Well.
Is there any message?
Yeah. Tell her Donegan's out and it's Hobson's choice.
Yes?
Mr. Hobson?
Yes?
My name is Spade.
Oh, yes, Mr. Spade. Come in.
Why did you phony up that alibi for Rosemary's husband, Mr. Hobson?
Huh? Oh, because I knew he's not the man who fired those shots at her.
Were you there?
As a matter of fact, I was. Would you like to hear about it?
I would.
Well, first, I'd better tell you a little about myself. Now, for the past year, I've been interested in politics, if I do say so myself.
Yes, I know. You ran for assembly. Come to the point.
Well, in a way, this is the point. My wife's a professional woman, and her own career keeps her busy a good deal of the time. Well, like the movie magazines say, a clash of careers and so on. That's how I happened to take up with Rosemary. I didn't know she was married, and of course, when I found out, I dropped her like a hot potato.
Potato.
And then she started blackmailing me. Did you know about that?
I still don't.
Well, I think I can convince you.
Go ahead.
Well, I received a series of threatening phone calls from Rosemary. And I finally decided to go to Donegan and tell him the whole story. Oh, he was as mad as a wet hen.
Wet hen?
Yeah. He said he'd stop her. And I believed he was the right man to do it. Well, last night he phoned me. He said he'd had a little caucus meeting with her and assured me I'd have no more trouble. But no sooner had I hung up that phone when she called again, making another outrageous demand. I decided then and there to take things into my own hands. So happens I'm a crack shot. And I knew that I could come close enough to frighten her without actually hurting her.
You were laboring under a false impression.
Huh? Oh, yes. Well, you believe me now?
Up to a point.
Well, I'm afraid that's all I have for you, Mr. Spade.
Well, I have something for you.
What's that?
Look up here. You see this bruise on my head?
Oh. Well, all in the game, you know.
Touché.
Hold it. I only...
Lie still. I'll get it. Yeah?
This is Rosemary again.
Listen, I want to talk...
You cheap ward healer. If you don't have that dough for me tonight, I will have no other recourse but to smear your fat puss all over the front pages.
Yeah, look, Rosemary...
And I am just the individual to do that. You may think you are a wolf in sheep's clothing, but in my opinion, you are nothing but a worm.
Yeah, well, look...
Goodbye, you rats. And rats.
Hey, Rosemary. Hello. Nuts.
Oh, wait a minute, Spade. Well, what did she say?
You can read it in my report, along with a bill for my services.
No, I'm so sorry she isn't in. You do that, sugar. Hello there.
Likewise.
Are you talented or just interested?
I could be. In the meantime, is Rosemary Farrell still here?
Did you have an appointment today?
Yes, honey. I called this morning. She was here then.
You must be mistaken, madam. The office didn't open till noon today.
Yeah. Could I talk to Miss Wilkerson?
She hadn't here just now.
Oh,
she never gets in till 1.
Not till 1.
She's over at KQW cutting a transcription for our new show, Goal of the Golden Gate. Oh, no. I mean, Gale of the Golden Goat.
Don't you mean Gale of the Golden Gate?
That's it. Girl of the Golden Gate.
You said it, and I'm glad.
Well, anyway, she hadn't here.
Oh.
Good morning, Maggie. Any calls for me?
Oh, yes, Miss Wilkerson, your husband... Oh, Miss Wilkerson, I was telling Miss German you weren't here.
Obviously, I am. Did you have an appointment?
I talked to you on the phone this morning. Spade.
Oh, Rosemary's friend.
Well, you might talk.
She'll be out in a moment. What a distressing business that was last night. Rosemary tells me you saved her life.
Well, that's a slight exaggeration. In fact, the whole thing was a mistake.
Oh, really? I understood that... Oh, here she is. Rosemary, here's your friend.
Sam, I ever glad to see you.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Plenty.
Oh. Well, thanks loads, Miss Wilkerson. I hope the recording is better on this one.
I'm sure it is, Rosemary. We'll call you when the client makes up his mind.
Oh, well, thanks again. Come on, Sam.
Goodbye, Mr. Spade.
Goodbye.
Sam, what is this new development that appears to be griping you?
Why didn't you tell me you were shaking Hobson down?
Uh-huh. And who's been feeding you this pile of gross falsehoods?
Look, Rosemary, you may be an actress, but with me, your audition is over, and you did not get the part.
And just what are your future intentions in regards to me?
None whatsoever. I'm sorry I ever met you, and I'm going back to Bumpass hell. I went back to the office, swiveled my chair into a comfortable position, opened the February number of Sheriff and Outlaw to page 112, Betrayal in Bumpass Hell, Chapter 5, Stampede. It was disappointing. There was a lot of stuff about bawling cattle and dust clouds and Flo and Curly standing on top of a butte, not liking what they saw, when somebody yelled, Stampede. Red Gillis was riding ahead of the cattle, and his horse stepped into a chuck hole, and he sprained his ankle. Red of the horse, it didn't say which. But Red was lying prostrate in the path of the avalanche of tossing horns, not liking what he saw. Hold it a minute. Let's see. Continue on page 113. Learn to be a private... hello?
Spade, this is Hobson. Come out here right away. Something terrible has happened.
Such as?
Rosemary is here, and I think she's dead. In here, Spade. Oh, I don't know how she got in. Oh, yes, I do remember I must have left the door unlocked.
Where were you?
Why, I just stepped out to get some cigarettes.
Did you prove it?
Why, no, I'm afraid not. I got halfway and found I didn't have any money and came back.
You came back, walked through this room, went in the bedroom, and didn't see the body until you started back?
Why, yes, the lights were off. I stumbled over it.
This is the gun?
Yes. She did it with my own gun. Oh, I never dreamed her love for me would drive her to self-destruction. Of course, now it's clear what really lay behind her poor, clumsy effort to blackmail me. It was a desperate move to get me back. Oh, I'll never forgive myself for driving that poor girl to this.
Don't worry about that, Hobson. This isn't suicide.
Murder? Oh, great heavens. What will Belita say?
Belita?
Yes, my wife.
Belita Wilkerson?
Professional name, you know. I was explaining to you before that... Oh, that's my wife now. What in the world do I tell her?
Never mind, I'll get it. Hello?
This is Rosemary for the last time.
Who?
I'm just calling to tell you that you have stalled around too long. I have talked to your wife and told her the whole sordid pitch. Why she wants you back, I will never know. But I sold you cheap, and you weren't worth a cent more. I am a girl who does not like to do things halfway, but you were just too late. Goodbye, you fathead.
Yeah, Rosemary, I guess we were all too late. I called you, Dundee, and then, like the rat I am, made off with your prize suspect before you and your boys from Homicide arrived. We arrived at the Belita Wilkerson Talent Agency just as the boss was shutting up shop for the day. She had the recordings under her arm. All right, Belita, I'll take those.
Warner, Mr. Spade.
Unlock the door, Belita. We're going back in.
Warner, why are you...
You better do as he says, Belita.
Well, all right, but...
Give me those keys. Inside, both of you. Where do you play these records?
The recording studio is just through there, but you can spare yourself the trouble. I admit I tricked Rosemary into recording those blackmail speeches and then played them back over the phone to Warner. If trying to hold on to my husband is a crime, then I'm a criminal.
Oh, now, Belita, my dear.
Come on, stop that. We gotta get busy. I phoned the Hobson house, and you were still there, Dundee. You said it was an open and shut case against Hobson, and to deliver him at once or kiss my license goodbye. But when I told you my diabolically ingenious scheme, you said yes, you'd be glad to, because it was a sure way of getting rid of me once and for all. It took us nearly 2 hours to get things ready in Belita's recording studio. We took the parts of Rosemary's so-called audition records that we thought would fit the occasion and dubbed them onto a single side. We played it back once, then I phoned you at headquarters.
Homicide. Lieutenant Dundee.
Spade, Dundee. Everything's ready here. Did you pick up Donegan?
Oh, yeah. He's here. Donegan?
Hold on. Okay, Belita. Start the record when I give you the nod.
Yes, Mr. Spade.
I didn't say it, Donegan. It's for you.
Thanks. Yeah, who's this?
This is Rosemary.
Huh?
I forgive you for everything, but there are some things I cannot forget. You
Rosemary,
lied.
it sounds like
We have meant a lot to each other, but after what you have done to me, it is time you take through the nose.
Rosemary, I didn't mean it. When I followed you to his house and you went right in like you lived there, I
What
just
you
went
have done
nuts.
to me, it is time you paid through the nose, you rat. I am a girl who does not like to do things halfway.
Listen, honey, you're
you
not
were
going to
just
throw the
too
book
late.
at me, are you?
I am just
I'm glad to hear your
individual,
voice. I
too.
thought you were
We have
dead.
meant a lot to
Okay,
each
kill it.
Rosemary, are you listening? Rosemary. Hey, no, she's still on the line. I want to talk to her.
Take him, House.
Wait a minute.
Take him. Sam.
Yeah, Dundee.
Congratulations. That was a brilliant piece of work. Hey. Sam, you still on the line?
Yeah, I'll be all right, Dundee. I just fainted temporarily. Say it again, will you, pal?
Yeah, as I was saying, congratulations on a brilliant piece of work.
Well.
But I have never in all my years on the force heard of such a wild, insane, illegal, unethical, and downright cruel method of extorting your confession.
Thank you, Dundee. I feel better already. Period. End of report.
But Sam, what happened?
Effie, I thought I had made that abundantly clear.
No.
In order to discredit her husband's paramour, Belita gave her a come-on about an audition and had her play the part of a blackmailer reading lines from a script which she, Belita, had prepared, and thereupon proceeded to play said records over the telephone, well knowing that her husband would erroneously believe Rosemary to be a blackmailer in fact, and would drop her like a hot spud.
No, Sam, no, I don't mean
Don't
that.
interrupt.
Oh.
It was my inspiration, I, Sam Spade, to use Belita's fiendish device for a higher purpose.
No, Sam, no,
Yes.
that is what No, Sam, I meant the Western story. Betrayal and Bumpass Creek.
It is not Crick, Effie.
You can't say H over the radio, Sam.
Oh, yes, you can. Bumpass Hell is the post office designation of a hamlet right here in California.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, what happened? Did Red Gillis ever find his brother?
I didn't quite finish, Eff. Go type that up and I shall.
Well, here it is, Sam. Oh, Sam, what's the matter? You don't look at all well.
Can't be. It didn't happen. It's a misprint. That's what it is.
What, Sam? What?
Maybe the writer was tired.
Oh, Sam, it's only a story.
That's what you think.
Well, did Red Gillis find his brother?
I won't tell.
Oh, now, Sam, now, don't be childish.
Oh, well, all right. Remember the sheriff he shot on page 1?
What?
Yeah, it turned out to be the new schoolmarm.
Oh, how ornery. A woman, huh? Nice.
Get off. Good night, sweetheart.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Show. We're on the air for ABC here in Hollywood.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go with the Abbott and Costello Show.
Yes, it's the Abbott and Costello Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood for your listening and laughing pleasure with chuckles with a carload and music by Matty Malnick. So hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
All right, what's all the excitement about? What happened, Lou?
Well, Uncle Mike discovered gold on his ranch.
Well, good for Uncle Mike.
Yeah, he's sending to Europe for some Englishmen with shovels.
He's sending for Englishmen with shovels. What for?
He figures England will want to borrow the gold sooner or later, and they might just as well come over here and help dig it up.
Oh, let's face it, Costello. Your Uncle Mike is a moron.
Oh, no, he's not.
No?
He's going to be a great scientist someday. Right now he's working on a new insecticide.
He is?
Yes. Last week he got out his notebooks and locked himself in his laboratory with 10,000 mosquitoes. He released the mosquitoes and was going to write down the mosquitoes' behavior.
Then what did he write?
Nothing. He was so busy scratching he didn't have time to write.
Just as I thought. He's as big a nincompoop as you.
No, he's not. Right now, he's crossing a rubber plant with a banana.
And what does he expect to get?
A girdle you can slide into.
You know, your whole family are jerks. But, by the way, what was that silly-looking thing on the radiator of your car this afternoon?
Well, you see, I can't afford a radiator cap, so I trained my little dog to sit on the radiator.
Your dog sits on the radiator?
Mm-hmm.
Does he bark much?
Only when it boils over.
Well,
I gotta leave you now, Abbott. I got a job as a babysitter.
You a babysitter?
Yep.
Babysitters are girls.
Well, what's wrong with the man? My Uncle Jim Kelly was a sitter. He isn't around anymore, though.
He isn't? What happened?
While he was sitting, the warden pulled the switch.
Oh, get him out.
And there'll be much more of that terrific Abbott and Costello humor in a few seconds.
What are you so excited about? Calm down. What's the matter?
I'm worried, Abbott.
What do you mean?
My Aunt May is in terrible shape.
Well, what's the matter with her?
She's got hallucinations. She thinks she's a taxi cab.
She thinks she's a taxi cab?
Yeah.
Why doesn't Uncle Mike call a doctor?
Why should he? She gets him to work faster than the Sunset bus.
How long has Uncle Mike and Aunt May been married, Lou?
Well, it's just 20 years since they went on their honeymoon. Aunt May went to Niagara Falls, and Uncle Mike went to Miami.
Wait a minute. You mean they weren't together on their honeymoon?
No, Uncle Mike said that a honeymoon is the happiest time of your life, and why let marriage spoil it?
Well, it's wonderful to think that your Aunt May and your Uncle Mike have been married for 20 years.
Yeah. But really, Abbott, what's wonderful about it? Uncle Mike thought she loved him, but for the whole 20 years she hated him. Hated him like poison. And now they have 17 children.
Wait a minute. If she hated him, why did they have 17 children?
Well, it was her idea. She was just trying to lose him in a crowd.
Does that mean to him, Lou?
Well, she beats him up all the time.
He wouldn't mind it if it wasn't for the children.
The children?
Yeah, they beat him, too.
He must be really henpecked.
Yes, he is. She tries to keep him in the house every night. Saturday, when he started to take his bath, she put 6 boxes of Jell-O in the tub so he'd get stuck. Luckily, it was raspberry, and he ate his way out.
Well, I don't have a very happy home life, do they, Lou?
No. Saturday night, Uncle Mike played pinochle all afternoon, and when he came home at 6 o'clock, there was no dinner on the table.
Well, where was your Aunt May?
Down at the bowling alley. She's down there 7 days a week.
Well, that's a shame.
Yep, Uncle Mike should have never got her that job setting pins.
Well, look, wasn't your Uncle Mike married once before?
Yeah, but his first wife passed away.
Well, now that's too bad.
Uncle Mike had such a tough time collecting the insurance that sometimes he almost wishes she hasn't died.
What did your Uncle Mike do before he got married, Lou?
Well, he was quite a Romeo, Abbott. For 2 years, he carried a torch for a girl in Pennsylvania.
He carried a torch for a girl in Pennsylvania?
She was a coal miner, and it gets pretty dark in those tunnels.
Didn't he ever work for a living?
Sure, he had a job in a canned soup factory. He was in the chicken soup division. He was a dragger.
Now, wait a minute. What are the duties of a dragger in a canned soup factory?
Very simple. When a 1,000-gallon tank of hot water was ready, he'd drag a chicken through it.
Well, it's no wonder your Aunt May fights with Uncle Mike.
Yeah. You should have seen Aunt May Sunday night, Abbott. She was so mad at Mike that she said she was going to pack her suitcases and leave him forever. Now he's really worried.
He is?
Yep. She ain't even started to pack her suitcases yet.
What a couple they are. Mike isn't a bad-looking guy, but I can't see what he ever saw in your Aunt May.
She was very popular in Patterson when she was a young girl.
She was?
Yes, the Patterson Electric and Power Company voted her Miss Alternating Current of 1915.
Costello, that's about the year you were born back in Patterson, isn't it?
Yes. I'm Patterson's favorite son.
What do you mean?
Just last week, the people of Patterson erected a statue in the very spot where I was born.
The spot where you were born? Where was that?
Right in the middle of the Greyhound bus depot.
You were born right in the middle of the Greyhound bus depot?
It was raining and my mother couldn't get a taxi.
Costello, you talk like an nincompoop. Tell me, does your whole family suffer from stupidity?
Indeed not. They enjoy every minute of it.
Hey there, Costello. I want to talk to you.
Mister, do I owe you any money?
No.
Mm-hmm. Did I ever give you a tip on any of my horses?
No.
Have you got a red-headed sister in Chicago?
No.
Okay, go ahead and talk to me.
Do you give away prizes on this program? Can I win a refrigerator or something?
Nope.
Well, goodbye. I've got to go hurry over to the Gangbusters radio show. Last week I got $164 on that program.
Wait a minute. Gangbusters don't give away anything.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm a pickpocket, too.
Now I know where I saw that guy, Abbott. It was the 30th anniversary party. Yours. Remember you had a swimming pool filled up with bourbon?
Yeah, the whole swimming pool was filled with bourbon. What fun.
Yes, I never saw so many people going down for the third time with smiles on their faces.
Well, never mind that. The whole town's talking about my anniversary party. Didn't my wife Betty look beautiful? I'm very proud of my wife. Every man in town was fighting over her, but I got her.
Abbott, you didn't fight hard enough.
My wife is a beautiful woman. She hasn't got a wrinkle in her face.
She hasn't, huh? Then what are those things? Dents?
Costello, you know nothing about women. I don't even know why I even discussed the subject of women with you.
Well, it's not my fault, Abbott. I led a very sheltered life. And I met a lovely little redhead, and I learned about women from her.
You did?
I'll never forget our first date. We sat on the riverbank in the moonlight. She moved closer to me, then I moved closer to her. Then the moon went behind a cloud. Then it happened.
What?
She let me tighten the string on her ukulele.
Did she kiss you, Lou?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Oh, boy.
How did it make you feel?
How did it make me feel?
Yeah.
Did you ever stand on a hot buttered waffle and have somebody pour maple syrup down your spine?
How did you get along with her, Lou?
Oh, good. The second time we had a date, I took her sightseeing on a bus.
Rubberneck?
No, but I tickled her a little.
Hello, boys.
Hey, look, Costello, it's our secretary, Viola Vaughn.
Well, Viola Vaughn.
That's my line, Lou.
Take it.
Well, Viola Vaughn. I understand you bought a new car. How do you like driving in California?
Well, it would be. That's
it
yours.
Would be.
Go ahead.
It would be all right if it weren't for the pedestrians.
What's wrong with the California pedestrians?
Well, I was driving down here tonight, and one of them whizzed right past my windshield. The dirty coward was pole vaulting across the street.
Sneaky devils, ain't they? Viola, why don't you take me for a ride down the beach tonight?
I should say not.
Costello, Viola's only kidding. She really likes you, but you've got to do something to show that you like her.
That's right, Costello. Do something brave.
Do something brave? I know what I'll do. I'll join the army and help fight the British.
But we're not fighting the British.
That's all the better. That way nobody can get hurt.
Costello, you know, you've been acting kind of queer lately.
Hey, wait a minute. Come to think of it, you're right, Viola. Yesterday afternoon, I saw him sitting up in a tree in Griffith Park.
Costello, what were you doing up in that tree?
Signing autographs?
Signing autographs?
Yes, the robins thought I was Woody Woodpecker.
Costello, here's another thing. Why do you always carry an umbrella on your arm? Why don't you get a girl on your arm? You know, a girl is much nicer than an umbrella.
Oh, I don't know, kiddo. When you're through with a girl, can you fold her up and hang her in a closet?
Why, you simple-minded, no-good, low-down...
Now, just a minute, Mr. Abbott. Have you ever stopped to consider that Costello's reasoning capacity and his functional capabilities for logical delineation are coordinated, comprehensive, and negligible? Is it compulsory to you to abuse this poor, moronic, social incompetent simply because the poor slob doesn't possess the mental capacity of an imbecile?
But Viola...
Just a minute, Abbott. You've had this coming to you for a long time. Let her finish. Continue. Tell them what a slob I am.
Viola, I can't help it if Costello's stupid.
Who's stupid? I want to tell you something, Abbott. I'm always studying, always reading. I just finished a book called When Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman in Dracula's Garden, where the Spider-Woman killed the cat girl.
What's the story about?
Two bums living in the La Brea tar pits.
Well, I've got to go now, boys. I'm taking my painting lessons.
Do you paint?
Oh, yes. I draw birds with charcoal. I paint flowers in watercolor.
What do you do in oil?
Fry potatoes. Go on, Pastor.
You know, Abbott, there's a girl going places.
She is?
Yes, sir. If she hurries, she can be the first one in line to collect her unemployment insurance.
Oh, get him out!
Now, while we take the 60-second intermission, we'd like you to consider this.
Star of the Abbott and Costello Show, Hal Winters.
I'd like to sing a song that belongs to the month of January, as much as White Christmas belongs to December. With Matty Malnick's orchestra, here is the Ralph Ranger, Leo Robin perennial, June and January. It's June in January because I'm in love. It always is spring in my heart with you in my arms. The snow is just white blossoms that fall from above. And here is the reason, my dear, your magical charms. The night is cold, the trees are bare, but I can feel the scent of roses in the air. It's June in January because I'm in love, but only because I'm in love with you. The night is cold, the trees are bare, but I can feel the scent of roses in the air. It's June in January because I'm in love, but only because I'm in love.
Hey, Abbott. I just made an important discovery. I think I can safely announce that Governor Dewey will run for president in 1952.
Oh, what makes you think that?
He just started taking piano lessons.
You know, Costello, ever since you started playing the part of Sam Shovel, private detective, you've got your nose in everybody's business. You've been as busy as an ant.
Ants are busy?
Certainly.
Then why are they always going to picnics?
Will you talk sense? What is that letter you have in your hand?
Well, Abbott, it's another fan letter. Listen to this. Dear Lou Costello, a Sam Shovelly detective, you are the greatest thing on radio. I love your show. But my wife won't listen to it. She says she needs you like she needs a hole in the head. I'm sending her to see you tonight.
Mr. Costello, there's a lady to see you.
What does she look like?
She's a short, fat woman with a hole in her head.
Oh, never mind. What is your Sam Shovel detective story for tonight, Luke?
I think I'll do one of my old Western cases. I call it the case of the general who opened up a drive-in and was caught selling horse meat, or Custer's last hamburger stand.
Well, now you're talking. Let's do it.
I'm Sam Shovel, private detective. I remember my first case. Three-eyed Maxie the murderer. He had three eyes. He was the only man in the world with 20/20/20 vision. And there was my second case. Terrible Tony, the toughest gangster in Los Angeles. He was a bronze giant with muscles of steel and an iron fist. I had to shoot him. May he rust in peace. 15 years in the detective business takes a lot out of you. But I feel as strong and vigorous as the day I started. Right now I could tear Superman in half. But I don't want to ruin the rest of the paper. I feel kind of thirsty. I go to the sink. This Los Angeles water is getting harder every day. I glanced out of my window. There's the headquarters of the Republican Club. On the window there's a sign, GOP. I just found out what GOP means. Gone out permanently. I look down at my desk. There's my new wristwatch. It's a shock-proof, non-magnetic, waterproof watch. The directions say don't take this watch out of the box. Fresh air ruins it. I think I'll give it to my secretary. What a secretary. She got the job the hard way. The hard way. She knew how to type. Lying next to my watch is my shotgun. I decide to see if it's loaded. I pointed at the floor and pulled the trigger. I looked down at the floor. When did I buy open-toed shoes? I reach in my coat pocket. Here's a wallet I found last night. I hope I can find the owner. A check. I check to see what's in the wallet. Here's a card. If found, return to Mr. Nichols. Del Mar Hotel. Here's a driver's license issued from Mr. Nichols, Del Mar Hotel. Here's a birth certificate with the name Nichols. Here's the pink slip for a new Hudson sedan issued to Mr. Nichols, Del Mar Hotel. Well, here's $600 in cash. Looks like I'll have to keep the money. Serves that guy right. He should carry some identification. The name on the money is Washington. Now, let me see. Oh, yes. It's about time for my pal Lieutenant Abbott of the Homicide Squad to show up. Abbott had a pretty tough week chasing crooks. Monday night he was held up on Main Street. Tuesday night he was held up on Broadway. Wednesday night he was held up on Sunset Boulevard. If Abbott would stay out of those saloons, he wouldn't need anybody to hold him up. Lieutenant Abbott don't have to work. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. This was okay until he found out that all the other kids had tongues. It's not easy to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Up to the time Abbott was 19, all he could say was Rogers Brothers, 1847. Before he became a detective, Abbott was a motorcycle cop. He was the only cop on the force that had traffic eyes. Real traffic eyes. They'd always look both ways before crossing each other. No matter what case Lieutenant Abbott goes out on, he's never stuck. Hello, Sam Shovel, private detective speaking.
Hello, Sam. This is Lieutenant Abbott. Sam, what time do the vaults open in the Fourth National Bank?
At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Not till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning?
That's right, Lieutenant Abbott. You can't get in those vaults till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Who wants to get in? I'm trying to get out.
Suddenly, my door opened.
Sam Shovel.
It was my pal, Lieutenant Abbott. He was scared to death. He was perspiring. He was sweating bullets. Lieutenant Abbott, how'd you get out of that bank vault?
Sam, I'll tell it to you all in a nutshell.
Can't you tell it to me here? I don't think we'd both fit in a nutshell.
Sam, I've been working on a series of bank burglaries. Monday night, the Kelly gang held up the First National Bank. Tuesday, they held up the Second National Bank. Wednesday, they held up the Third National Bank. So tonight, I was waiting for them at the Fourth National Bank.
And you caught them?
Nah. Tonight, they held up the First National Bank again. myself. Enough about my trouble, Sam. Sam, you don't look good. What's the matter?
I didn't get any sleep last night, Lieutenant. A burglar climbed into my bedroom window and made me get out of bed. I stood there shivering in my long underwear.
Why didn't you holler for help?
He had a gun, and I was afraid to open my trap. After the burglar left, I still couldn't get any sleep. I was worried about my brother Pat. He kept poking his head into my room.
Well, lots of guys poke their heads into their brother's rooms.
On the end of a stick?
Sam, did you hear those shots?
They came from the office next door.
Who runs that office next door?
An organization called the American Society of Patriotic Americans for the Preservation of Freedom in the United States of all and for all patriotic Americans.
What do they do?
They're foreign spies.
Sam, look. There's the guy that did the shooting. He's coming in here. He's got a gun.
So this is the place I've been looking for, eh? Where's Sam Shovel, the private detective?
What do you want with him?
I'm going to kill him. I hate radio detectives. I hate them all. The Thin Man, the Fat Man, Ellery Queen. But most of all, I hate Sam Shovel. I'm going to gouge his eyes out. I'll fill him with lead. Now, who are you?
Oh, I'm just an ordinary policeman.
Yeah?
Honest, mister, I'm not a radio detective.
And you? Who are you, fatso?
Well, I'm, I'm Don't Stand There, Rabbit. Hand me my cookbook.
Cookbook? Who are you?
Don't you recognize me? Mary Margaret McBride.
Oh, so you're the one that gives out those recipes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's anything I hate worse than radio detectives, it's those recipe programs. I'll kill them all. I'll kill them like a hell. Get out of here.
Gardner will wind up tonight's hijinks in just a moment, folks, after a little advice from this fellow.
Costello, are you sure the folks at home like this Sam Shovel series we're doing?
Oh, certainly, Abbott. Listen to this letter. Dear Lou Costello, other radio detectives get you to listen, expecting something big on their shows. Then in the end, they have nothing. You never disappoint the listener. You have nothing right from the start.
Well, now, that's quite a compliment to our writers.
Oh, sure. And I'm glad they heard that fan letter, folks, because our writing staff is headed by Eddie Foreman with Paul Collin, Pat Costello, Martin Raguel, and Leonard Stern.
And our producer is Charles Vander. See you all next Thursday. Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. All over the world.
Listen each Thursday night at this time for another great Abbott and Costello show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood. Be sure to stay tuned for the outstanding entertainment which follows throughout the evening on this ABC station.
Another cup of Maxwell House coffee, George?
Sure. Pour me a cup, Gracie.
You know Maxwell House is always good to the last drop.
That drop's good, too.
Yes, it's Maxwell House Coffee Time, starring George Burns and Gracie Allen. With our special guest, Howard Duff, who is the famous detective Sam Spade. Yours truly, Toby Reed, Joseph Kearns, Eric Snowden, Harry Lubin, the Maxwell House Orchestra, and Bill Goodwin.
For America's Thursday night comedy enjoyment, it's George and Gracie. And for America's everyday coffee-drinking enjoyment, it's Maxwell House. Always good to the last drop.
Many people say that Gracie is responsible for George being where he is today, and that's certainly true. Gracie is also responsible for Sam Spade being where he is today. You see, George and Sam Spade are both in jail. How did it happen? Well, let's listen as George is being questioned by a police lieutenant.
All right, let's start at the top. Name?
George Burns.
Occupation?
I'm married to Gracie Allen.
No. What do you do? What keeps you busy?
I'm married to Gracie Allen.
Let me put it this way. What's your source of income?
I'm married to Gracie Allen.
All right, skip it. What's your age?
Approximately 42.
How come you look older?
I'm married to Gracie Allen.
What's your address?
360 North Camden.
All right, Burns, now suppose you tell me why you're in this jam.
I'm married to Gracie Allen.
You're in a rut. Hey, Spade, how come you're in this jam?
He's married to Gracie Allen.
You know, Burns, you and this Spade character are accused of murder. Now, suppose you tell me the whole story right from the start.
Okay, Lieutenant. It all started last Sunday night. I was sitting home listening to the radio with my wife. I'm married to
Gracie Allen. Yes, that part I know. Take it from there.
Well, Gracie and I were listening to the adventures of Sam Spade. The program was just finishing.
All right, Jenkins. Let's take a little ride down to headquarters.
Me, sir? But I wouldn't murder Mr. Benson. I've been his butler for 20 years.
Don't play innocent. I know you pulled this caper, and I've got enough evidence to put you right in the hot seat.
But, Mr. Spade, I didn't do it.
Say that malarkey for the warden. You were clever, Jenkins, but not clever enough. I think I'll call this the careless butler caper.
Why did you turn off the radio, Gracie?
Sam Spade got the wrong man tonight.
What?
I'm positive that Jenkins the butler wasn't guilty. An innocent man is going to get the hot plate.
Hot seat. And don't worry. He'll only get it on the radio.
Well, who cares where they put it? When he sits down, it'll burn. I've got to talk to Sam Spade right away.
Honey, Sam Spade is not a real detective.
I'll say he isn't. Any man who'd make an innocent butler sit on the hot plate...
Gracie, he'll get a hot seat.
Oh, he sure will after he sits on that hot plate.
Look, here's what I mean. On his program, Sam Spade is a private detective. But in real life, he's just an ordinary guy. Just like on your program, you're a nitwit. But in real life... That won't work. Anyway, Gracie, what you just heard was only a radio program.
I know that. The real crime happened last week. Every Sunday night, Sam Spade broadcasts his most thrilling case of the week.
You still don't understand. Sam Spade is just a character.
I'll say he's a character. Making that poor innocent butler sit on a hot plate.
Hot seat. Let me try to explain this once more. Sam Spade isn't even the fellow's real name. He's the brainchild of Dashiell Hammett.
Oh, you mean his real name is Sam Hammett?
No, his real name is Howard Duff.
Then why isn't his father's name Dashiell Duff?
Look, Sam Spade doesn't have any actual father or mother. He came from Dashiell Hammett's typewriter.
Oh, George, you're so innocent. You believe that old story about coming from under cabbage leaves, too.
What's the use? Okay, Sam Spade is a naughty detective, and he's sending an innocent butler to the hot plate.
Hot seat.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
Well,
Lieutenant, I didn't think any more about it. I was tired. It was past my bedtime.
What time was it?
It was after 9.
Gee.
So I went to bed thinking Gracie would follow me. Instead, she followed Sam Spade.
Oh, what do you mean?
Let me tell you about that part of it, Lieutenant.
Okay, Spade.
Well, I'd finished my regular Sunday night show at the broadcasting studio, after which the actors lingered on for a little bull session, who stepped on whose lines, I want a bigger part next week, and so forth. So, it's about 10 when I step out into the California night air, which is also about 10. But there's no snow, so I decide to walk home. I haven't taken 2 steps when this little lady grabs me by the sleeve and says,
Are you Sam Spade?
well, if I had known then what I know now, I would have thrown myself under the wheels of a passing Sunset bus. But I'm a ham, and I figure she's maybe a fan, so I answer in my best Pasadena Playhouse voice. Why, yes, I'm Sam Spade.
The butler didn't do it.
Huh?
You've got the wrong man. The butler didn't jerk that kipper.
Jerk that kipper.
Yank that copper?
You mean pull that caper?
That's it. Yes. You sent an innocent man to jail.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Lady, I think you're a little mixed up about me. I'm just an actor on CBS.
That's what everybody said.
Look, little lady, I'm tired. It's been a tough day. I'll see you around, huh?
Now, just a minute, Sam Spade. I heard you arrest that butler. Now, you've got to let him go free.
You wouldn't give me a rib, would you?
Anything to free that butler. Which rib do you want?
I'll tell you what. Why don't you write me a letter? With a dull pencil. Don't use anything sharp.
Mm-hmm. I'll do better than that. I'll come to your office. Where is it?
I haven't got an office.
Oh, playing cagey, huh? All right. I'll come to your house. Where's that?
321... Oh, no. I'm not talking. I want to get some sleep tonight. So long.
So long.
Why are you following me? What do you want?
Got a cigarette?
Sure. Here you are.
Thanks. Got a match?
Sure. Want me to light it for you?
No, thanks. I don't smoke.
Then why did you ask me for a cigarette?
Well, I thought I'd better have it in case somebody asked me for one.
I see.
Would you like a cigarette?
No, thanks.
Well, good night.
Good night. Okay. Now what?
Got the time?
Yeah, it's exactly 10:10.
Thanks.
Now, I meant it's 10 minutes after 10.
You're wrong. My watch says 15 after 10.
You've got a watch?
Sure.
Then why did you ask me the time?
Want a cigarette?
No.
Well, good night.
Good night. Look, lady, stop following me.
Oh, it's you again.
Yeah, fancy meeting me here. Can't I give you the slip?
Please. I couldn't accept a thing like that from a strange man.
All right, what do you want this time?
Got a road map?
A road map. Are you lost?
No.
May I make a suggestion?
What?
Get lost.
Well, good night.
Good night. Well, I've had enough of this, little lady. You've seen the end of me.
Yeah, for 2 blocks.
This time I'll lose you. Hey, taxi. Let's get out of here, cabby, but fast. Here's my house, cabby. Pull up. That was real driving, buddy. Keep the change. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, no. How did you get here?
On the back of that cab.
Who are you, anyway?
Oh, no. I'm too smart to tell you who I am. If I did, you'd complain to my husband, George Burns.
Oh, so you're Gracie Allen.
How did you find out?
You forget I'm a detective.
Oh.
And now I know what the National Safety Council means when they say don't be a Gracie.
Oh, never mind that. Are you going to let the butler go?
Look, Gracie, there's really no butler in prison, and I'm not really Sam Spade.
Oh, now, don't give me that story about your mother being a typewriter.
What?
You're not talking to a child. I'm older than I look.
Okay, Gracie, I see there's no use arguing with a smart girl like you. I'll see that the butler gets out. I'll get him the best mouthpiece in town.
Get him out first. Fix his teeth later.
Okay. Good night. Well, Lieutenant, I thought that would be the end of the episode.
But it wasn't, huh? Brother, you haven't heard anything yet. The next morning... Wait a minute, Mr. Burns. Before I listen to any more of this story, I'll have to send out for some aspirin.
Yeah, have some of mine.
Hey, how come you walk around with your pockets full of aspirin?
I'm married to Gracie Allen.
Yes, it's Strike Up the Band, the glorious music of George Gershwin. You know, you just can't mistake those melodies, those typical harmonies, the wonderful Gershwin rhythms. And it's all these things, all the separate musical elements skillfully combined, that make the music of George Gershwin so immortal. Listen a moment to one of his most famous compositions. It was heard for the first time just 25 years ago tonight. But see if you can recognize it when we play just the mellow harmony. With that, we'll blend this counter melody for richness. And now to add that vigorous Gershwin rhythm. Finally, we'll round out this great score as Gershwin intended you to hear and enjoy it by adding his full-bodied melody. Yes, the famous Rhapsody in Blue, even more popular today than when it was first played 25 years ago tonight. Like all great composers, George Gershwin knew well that great music requires not one, but many fine musical parts, all skillfully blended into one harmonious score. And friends, it takes the same skill in blending to bring you great coffee, famous Maxwell House coffee. Its flavor, rich, satisfying, good to the last drop flavor that's made Maxwell House America's favorite brand of coffee. And to create the superb flavor, our Maxwell House experts combine not one, but many choice coffees from the fertile highlands of Latin America. First, they select premium grades of Monticelli's coffees for mellowness. To these coffees, fine Medellins are added for richness. But famous Maxwell House flavor must be more than mellow and rich, so other choice coffees are added for vigor. And then Bucaramanga's coffees contribute their fine, full body. This perfectly balanced Maxwell House blend is then radiant roasted to flavor perfection and brought to you vacuum-packed and roaster fresh.
And because you folks on the West Coast really know and enjoy coffee at its best, Maxwell House is blended and roasted for you right here on the West Coast to satisfy your critical taste.
So tomorrow, discover all the extra flavor that's yours in every cup of America's favorite brand of coffee. Famous Maxwell House. Always good to the last drop. And now, back to the city jail, where George and Sam Spade are trying to explain how Gracie put them there.
Let's see if I've got this straight so far, Burns. Your wife listened to Sam Spade's program, thought he was really sending an innocent butler to the chair, and started hounding him.
That's right, Lieutenant.
What did you think, Spade?
I didn't know what to think, Lieutenant. The surveys tell me I have 10 million odd listeners, but I didn't think any of them were that odd.
Yeah. Well, anyway, to get rid of her, you told her that you'd free the butler.
Yeah, but that didn't satisfy Gracie. She demanded to see the guy.
That's when Spade came to me for help. He asked me to make Gracie leave him alone. What'd you say? I told him to ask me something easy. Like getting Westbrook Pegler to dance with Eleanor Roosevelt. Mr. Burns, why do you put up with a wife like that? I'm too old to go back to Gus Edwards. Besides which, I happen to love her. Well, so what did you two decide to do?
Well, there was only one thing we could do. That was dig up the actor who played the butler in my program and let Gracie see him.
Which we did.
Yeah, and that's when we really got into trouble.
Well, tell me just what happened. Okay. Spade was giving the guy his final instructions.
Now, remember, Claude, you're Jenkins the butler, and I have set you free.
Don't worry, I'll have Mrs. Burns crying like a baby. In radio, they don't call me the male Ma Perkins for nothing.
Well, come on, Gracie's in the next room. Honey, here's Sam Spade.
Yes, Mrs. Burns, and I've freed the butler. Here he is.
How do you do, madam?
It is the butler. I recognize that voice. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Jenkins. What will you do now that you're free?
I shall return to the home of my youth.
Where did your youth live?
I had reference to my birthplace, madam. Dear old England. I shall go back there to regain my health.
Really?
Yes, America is nice, but I'll take Liverpool.
Well, you don't have to go to England for Liverpools. They're made right here.
Oh, yes, that's Carter's little Liverpools. They take
Liverpool is the name of a city.
Yes, now, thank Mrs. Burns for getting out of jail and then disappeared.
Madam, your beneficent intervention has terminated a most injurious and humiliating incarceration. You'll never know what that means.
Well, I won't unless you shorten the words.
Goodbye, Jenkins.
Farewell all. I go to a new and better life.
Oh, goodbye. Write me from Kidney Creek.
Liverpool.
Well, I was in the right neighborhood. Goodbye.
Well, that takes care of that, eh, George?
You said it.
I'll be running along, too. Goodbye, Gracie.
Just a minute. Now, look, if the butler didn't murder Mr. Benson, who did?
Huh?
You proved that his wife and daughter didn't do it, and there was only one other person on the scene. So he must be the murderer.
Who?
You.
Me?
Confess, Sam Spade. You murdered Mr. Benson.
But I had no motive.
And you did it with something else.
Look, Gracie,
Hand me my lipstick, George. I'm going to give him the 3rd degree.
Lipstick?
Well, I want to look nice when he shines that bright light in my face.
You're supposed to shine it in his face.
Oh, well, then give him the lipstick.
I'm getting out of this madhouse. Goodbye.
Well, Lieutenant, Spade ran out of that house like he was seeing a ghost, which was true because from then on Gracie started haunting him, trying to make him confess.
Yeah, she found out that my radio sponsor was Wildroot Cream Oil, so she disguised herself with a big hat and a veil and knocked at my door.
Sam Spade?
Yes.
How do you do? My name is Wildroot.
Wildroot?
Perhaps you know my husband, Willie Cream Oil. My full name is Mrs. Wildroot Cream Oil. I'm the wife of your sponsor.
Now, look.
I understand you murdered a Mr. Benson. Now, that's strictly forbidden in your contract.
Mrs. Cream Oil, you look like Gracie Allen to me.
Flattery will get you no place. Now, if you'd like to confess, perhaps we can get you off with life imprisonment. And when you come out, you can take over your program again.
Gracie, I did not murder Mr. Benson. Go away. But the next day, she was back. This time with another disguise.
Sam Spade?
Yes?
I'm from Western Union. I have a telegram here from President Truman.
What?
I'll read it to you. Dear Sam, confess. Signed, Harry. Any answer?
Scram. Beat it. Go away.
That's no way to talk to the president.
Out. Out. But the third day topped everything. She posed as a private detective.
Sam Spade?
Yes?
I'm Sally Shovel. Now, listen, chum. We're in the same racket, pal, and I want to help you, buddy, so why don't you confess, Mac?
You're a private eye?
Also ear, nose, and throat. I put everything into my work. Now, confess, Drop. So you murdered Benson, so what? I've been mixed up with a few keepers. Or is it capers?
In your case, it's keepers. Now go away.
Well, Lieutenant, that's when Spade came to see me again. Looking much older.
Yeah, we hit on a brilliant scheme. We decided that I should confess the murder, then George would pretend to take me to the city hall to surrender, and Gracie would forget the whole thing.
But Gracie did something we didn't count on.
What was that?
While I was going to pick up Spade, she called the police.
Oh, yes, that's where I come into the picture. She called me.
I suppose you tell us what happened then.
Well, when I got to the house, she said...
There's a desperate criminal on his way here to confess a murder. As soon as he confesses, you can grab him.
Don't worry, lady.
Oh, that must be him.
Yeah, you wait in the next room. He may be armed.
Oh, he is. There's one hanging from each shoulder. You call me if you need.
Oh, hello. Where's everybody?
Never mind. What's your name?
Bill Goodwin.
What did you do with the body?
I took her home.
What did you do then?
I dumped her out.
Oh, she was dead, huh?
Well, sure, that's why I took her home.
You've done a pretty terrible thing, young man.
Tomorrow I'll send her some flowers.
Oh, you're a real killer.
Oh, sure.
Now tell me everything you did tonight.
I will not. Who are you, her father?
No.
Well, in that case, I'll tell you that. Another fellow and I double dated. We met the girls, and the four of us went into a restaurant for dinner. I ordered 4 cups of Maxwell House coffee.
Then what?
Well, I told the waiter to bring the other people some, too. Yeah, I wanted them to taste the rich, mellow goodness of Maxwell House. It's America's favorite coffee, you know.
Yes, I know. What happened then?
Well, that's when the girl and I got into a fight.
Aha, what about?
She caught me drinking her Maxwell House coffee.
Yeah, but you'd had 4 cups.
Well, when you taste that good to the last drop flavor, you just don't know when to stop. You know, Maxwell House is a blend of the finest Latin American coffees, radiant roasted to the peak of flavor perfection.
Well, officer, did he confess to murder? Bill Goodwin.
He confessed everything, Mrs. Burns. He got mixed up with a girl, and now he's headed for the chair.
You're nuts. When I get mixed up with a girl, I head for the divan.
I mean the electric chair. You killed a girl.
Are you kidding? All I killed was 5 cups of Maxwell House coffee.
Yes, officer, this is the wrong man. Sam Spade is the one you want to arrest.
Sam Spade is in trouble? Oh, gee, I was going to hire him to find someone for me.
Who?
Girl about 5'2", red hair, green eyes, terrific figure, drives a Cadillac convertible.
Oh, when did you last see her?
Who's seen her? I want Spade to find me one like that. Well, so long.
Well, there won't be any mistake this time, officer. Here comes my husband up the walk with the real murderer.
Yeah, anyone can tell that guy's a criminal. Look at that low forehead.
That's my husband.
Oh. Well, this time I want to hear the confession before I make the pinch. I'll just duck into this closet.
Oh, poor Mr. Spade. I hate to think of him sitting in the electric chair. With those long legs, he'll be so uncomfortable.
Well, here he is, Gracie. Ready to confess.
Yes, I can hide the truth no longer. I killed Benson.
Why did you do it, Mr. Spade?
That man murdered my mother, ruined my father, tortured my sister, and robbed my brother.
Oh, then it was nothing personal.
No, I just didn't like him.
Oh. How did it happen?
Benson was standing in a bar, see? I walked up to him, let him have 2 slugs, and he fell to the floor.
Couldn't hold his liquor, huh?
You let him have 2 slugs from a pistol. Now keep quiet and let the man confess.
Yes, dear.
I never gave him a chance, see? I shot him down in cold blood. As he lay on the floor, I pulled the trigger again and again and again. When the gun was empty, I stood over his body and laughed like the fiend that I am. I should be locked up for 20 years, 30 years.
I'll make that 40.
Huh? Who are you?
I'm Regan from Homicide.
I called him over to hear your confession.
Okay, come on, Spade.
Officer, wait a minute. Let me explain. Mr. Spade and I cooked this whole thing up together.
Oh, an accomplice. I'll take you along, too.
Wait a minute. I've never done anything wrong in my life.
Well, of course not. He's my husband. The man who married me.
All right, so I did one thing wrong. Come on, you two. Well, Lieutenant, that's the whole story.
My apologies, fellas. You're both free to go.
Thanks. Come on, Sam. Let's get out of here.
You said it.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Burns, your wife's waiting outside.
Gracie? So long, George. I'm staying in jail.
So long.
Oh, hello, darling.
Hello, Gracie. Let's go home.
Oh, I can't, sweetheart. I've got something important to do.
Hey, you've got that big hat and that veil on again. Where are you going?
Well, while you were in jail, I heard Ellery Queen on the radio, and he arrested the wrong man.
Oh, no, you're not going to start.
Join us again next Thursday when we'll all be back. George Burns, Gracie Allen, Bill Goodwin, Harry Lubin, and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Toby Reed. And now, here are our stars.
Well, Gracie, next week we're going to have two guest stars, Mr. and Mrs. James Mason.
James Mason? He's that wonderful English actor who's so mean and so rough with women.
That's the man.
Gee, he might hit me. Oh, but with you here, he wouldn't dare.
You said it.
You'd show him. If he hit me, you'd hit Mrs. Mason.
That's what I thought.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's all remember to help the National Safety Council in their campaign to cut down the terrible toll of home accidents. Be safe. Be careful. Don't be a Gracie.
Good things.
The easy way.
Do you like good things the easy way? Then get instant Maxwell House coffee.
So good.
So good. True coffee flavor and fragrance, because Instant Maxwell House is not a so-called coffee product. It's all pure Maxwell House coffee in instant form.
And so easy.
So easy. Instant Maxwell House means great coffee instantly in your cup. No fuss, no muss, no bother. Today, try Instant Maxwell House. Instantly good to the last drop. Howard Duff will soon be seen as star of the Universal International picture, Red Canyon. Until next Thursday, when our guests will be Mr. and Mrs. James Mason. Good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. The George Burns and Gracie Allen Show is written by Paul Henning and Keith Fowler.
Hey, Abbott, what time is it?
It's time for the Abbott and Costello Show. We're on the air for ABC here in Hollywood.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go with the Abbott and Costello Show.
Yes, it's the Abbott and Costello Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood for your listening and laughing pleasure, with chuckles with a carload and music by Matty Malnick. So hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
All right. Cut out that yelling. What's all the excitement?
Well, I went to a party last night, Abbott. There were 30 girls there. Not one of them would dance with me or even talk to me.
You didn't have any fun then?
No, I was as lonesome as Fed Ellen on Sunday night.
I thought you were such a big shot with the girls. I don't believe you ever had a girl.
Oh, yes, I did, Abbott. I had a very beautiful little blonde once, and everything was swell until one day she ran off to Florida. She married a guy, and now she has 5 children. After that, we just sort of drifted apart.
She had... Why don't you speak to my wife, Lou? She knows lots of nice girls.
No, your wife don't like me, Abbott.
Well, if you hang around with her more, you'll find me. You'll eventually get under her skin.
Well, I guess one more lump won't hurt her.
How can you talk that way about my wife? Remember the first night you met her?
Yes. The minute she walked in the room, I said, there's either an ugly woman or a good-looking man.
Costello, do you know you're getting more stupid every day?
Gee, thanks, Abbott. I'm glad to know I'm not stagnating.
Oh, get him.
Before the boys get any further involved in nonsense, here's a thought that makes good sense.
What's that thing you've got under your arm?
That's my new Harry Truman rifle.
The Harry Truman rifle?
Yes, a .48 repeater.
What happened to you last night? I called your house and you weren't home.
Well, I went to the movies, Abbott. I saw one of those old-time pictures. It was all about the Romans. They had a chariot race in it, and it was won by a guy named Ben Hinn.
Yeah. You dummy, you mean Ben Hur, not him, her.
They were all dressed up in them bed sheets. You couldn't tell the hymns from the hers.
Well, if you'd gone to school, Lou, you'd known the story of Ben Hur.
Did you go to school, Abbott?
Oh, certainly. I started in nursery school, then I went to kindergarten.
So what? I started in nursery school. I went to kindergarten.
And I went from kindergarten to grammar school.
So what? I went to kindergarten to grammar school.
I went from grammar school to high school.
You think there'll be as short as of meatballs this summer?
Costello, you've got the brain of a monkey.
I'll bet you I have not.
Yeah? What do you want to bet?
15 bananas. Trying to insinuate that I'm ignorant? Abbott, you're nothing but a Hollywood character.
Oh, what's a Hollywood character?
A jerk with a personality.
I'll ignore that remark because of your ignorance.
Who's ignorant? When I went to school, I specialized in history. I can name off all the most important dates in history.
All right, go ahead. Name some important dates.
Well, I will. There's 1492, 1776, 1812, 1917, Rita Hayworth.
Now, wait a minute. Rita Hayworth is not an important date.
Ali Khan seems to think so.
Costello, why don't you listen to me? Take my advice once in a while. I'm your friend. I realize that you're an idiot, and I want to assist you, Lou.
What good can you do me? You're just an assistant to an idiot.
Well, just look at you. You're dumpy, squatty.
Now, hold it, Abbott.
What do you mean?
Hold it.
What do you
I'll
mean?
go for so much, and that's all. Now, it's not my fault that I didn't grow tall like the other boys. When I was a little boy over in Scotland, I used to play the bagpipes, but it gave me pneumonia.
Wait a minute. Now, look. Wait a minute. How could playing the bagpipes give you pneumonia?
There was a leak in the bag, and the air kept blowing up my kilts. Instead of wearing a whisk broom in front of my kilts like the rest of the Scotsmen, I had to wear a hot water bottle.
Well, you must have had a very poor childhood, Costello.
I did have it. We were very poor. My mother had to work, and she had to take in washing. She had to scrub office floors. She worked as a blacksmith. She drove an oil truck. And one time for 3 years, she worked in the daytime as a waitress and worked at night in a coal mine.
What did your father do?
He kept the books.
Well, I guess you had a pretty tough time when you were a kid.
Yes, I'll never forget the day my mother made my first pair of long pants. It had 12 buttons down the back and 4 pockets in the front.
What did she make them out of?
My father's old vest. I was the only kid in school that had a watch fob hanging from a knee.
Were you very popular with the other kids in school, Lou?
Oh, I was a pitcher on a baseball team. What a pitcher I was. I had a drop ball, a slow ball, a curve ball.
Did you have a screwball?
That was before I met you, Abbott.
You dummy, you ought to be back in school right now.
For your information, Abbott, I'm keeping steady company with a red-headed school teacher.
What does she teach?
She has a high school class of men all over 40 years old.
40-year-old men? Why don't they go to college?
When she gets through teaching them, there's nothing else to learn.
Running around with a school teacher. Why don't you find a nice girl and get married?
I'm going to, Abbott, as soon as I get some money.
Money. Costello, don't worry about money. Do you realize what money is? Money is the root of all evil. Money is an invention of the devil. Money is filthy lucre. Money causes misery. Money. That's what I think of money.
May the Bank of America have mercy on your soul.
Costello, you don't need money. What you need is the love of a good woman. Find another girl like my wife, Betty.
You mean there's another girl like your wife, Betty?
Costello, I love my wife. My Betty's a real cookie.
Your wife is a cookie?
That's right.
Abbott, you just set baking back 20 years.
You'd be lucky to get a girl like my wife. My Betty is always straight from the shoulder.
Who wants a girl that's straight from the shoulder? I like the girl that curves.
Uncle Bud, something terrible just happened to me.
And this is really his Uncle Bud, and this is the nephew. We don't kid about it. He's got to work. Abbott's nephew. Pay attention to what he says, folks. This may be his last performance.
What is it, Norman? Nephew Norman. Why are you so excited?
Uncle Bud, when I was coming through the pass in the mountains, a mountain lion jumped right in the car beside me.
Yes, then what happened?
The lion killed me!
Wait a minute, Norman. You're not dead. Stop crying. You're working on the Abbott and Costello show. You're still living.
You call this living?
Really, though, sincerely, there goes a brilliant boy. His brain is on a slow boat to the Mayo Brothers.
Now, you lay off, Norman. He's a very intelligent boy. He's always studying and reading. It wouldn't hurt you to do a little reading once in a while.
Oh, Abbott, I do plenty of reading. When I was 7 years old, I started my first book, Little Red Riding Hood. I rented it from the library. The last time I'll ever rent a book from the library.
Well, didn't you like Little Red Riding Hood?
Abbott, up to now, I owe that library $2,800. And Little Red Riding Hood has yet to meet the wolf.
Little Red Riding Hood. Why don't you read some of the newer books?
I just bought Gypsy Rose Lee's new book. It's a story of her life.
Well, what does Gypsy Rose Lee call her new book?
The Leg and I.
Why don't you read something educational, Lou?
I am, Adam. I just bought a book on inventions. It tells all about new gadgets. I bought one yesterday for my Aunt May.
What kind of a gadget did you buy for your Aunt May?
It's a new girdle that's made from surplus paratrooper's harness. And it's a handy little thing. At night, she doesn't have to undress.
She doesn't?
No, she just jumps off the top of the dresser and pulls the ripcord.
That's ridiculous. But, hey, I understand you're working on some kind of a silly invention yourself.
And my invention is all finished, too, Abbott. It's a new kind of perfume. And all the girls in Hollywood are going to go crazy about it.
All the girls in Hollywood are going crazy about your perfume? Why?
It smells like money. I gave a bottle of it to my Aunt May. Boy, did it make her popular.
Your Aunt May was never popular.
Is that so? Back in Patterson, New Jersey, she was so popular, every guy in town used to drink champagne out of her slipper.
And what did it get her?
She's got the only big toe in the world that belongs to Alcoholics Anonymous. Mister, what's going on here?
That's this darn kid of mine. He won't eat his spinach. Junior, you've got to eat your spinach.
I ain't going to do it. I don't like spinach.
Well, you eat your spinach on Saturday, I'll make you go to see Abbott and Costello's picture, Mexican Hayride.
No, you can't do that to me. me. Nothing might finish if my boss can stand it that way.
Yeah, but I'd like to take that kid over to Santa Anita Saturday.
What for?
I want to drop him in a claiming race.
Well, hello, boy.
Hey, look, Costello, it's Viola.
Viola, you look very lovely tonight.
Viola, I understand that you and Costello had a date last night. Where'd you go?
Well, Costello had a terrible time making up his mind where to take me.
Well, you see, I was trying to make up my mind between Ciro's and the Macombo. But we finally went.
Where?
To a hamburger stand between Ciro's and the Macombo.
Well, don't you worry, Viola. After we're married, things will be different. We'll have lots of little ones, and they'll all look like me.
Oh, gee, I'd always planned on having children.
I'd plan on having a few laughs here. Are you sure you're reading the same script?
Lou, you shouldn't be jealous of me. I don't want to be a comedian. I don't want to make people laugh.
Okay, then you read my lines.
Costello, you can't be funny without me. You need me. Why, where would Edgar Bergen be without Charlie McCoffey? Where would Amos be without Andy?
That's true.
Certainly. One thing goes with the other. Like Dorothy Lamour. Where would she be without her sarong?
I don't know, but I sure would like to be there.
Costello, I think you're girl crazy. I'm not the girl for you.
But, Viola, you can't leave me. What would I do without you?
Don't worry about that. I'll fix you up with a girlfriend of mine. Oh, you'll be just crazy about this girl. When she meets you, she'll rush over and she'll throw her arms around you like this.
Yes.
And she'll squeeze you like this.
Yes.
And she'll kiss you like this. And this. And this. And this. There. Now, what do you think of that?
When am I going to meet this girl?
Viola, why don't you take pity on Costello and marry him? Then you'll be known as Mrs. Louis G. Costello.
G? Oh, what does the G stand for, Costello?
Don't you tell her, Rabbit.
Come on now. What does it stand for? George?
No, I don't want to tell you.
Oh, come on, Costello. What does the G stand for?
Oh, do I have to tell you?
Yes.
Stands for Gloria.
Gloria?
Yes, my mother always wanted a girl, and my father didn't have the heart to tell her.
Viola, why don't you forget Costello and come to the movies tonight and see our latest picture, Mexican Hayride?
Oh, thanks, Bud, but I saw the picture already.
Oh, you did? Tell me. How did you like my acting?
Well, it was...
I'd say...
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me put it this way.
Sure.
You know how Van Johnson has that dramatic touch?
Oh, yes.
And how Clark Gable has that forceful personality?
Yes.
And how Gregory Peck gives that little artistic extra something.
Yeah. But what about me?
Costello, can you drive a taxi cab?
Now get this girl out of here, will you? Come on.
That's only half the fun, folks. Just as many laughs yet to come. But first, listen to this.
The spotlight turns to Hal Winters, our singing star. Here he is with Matty Malnick and his orchestra.
I caught you, sir, having a look at her as she went strolling by. Now, didn't your heart beat boom, 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 and didn't you sigh a sigh? I warn you, sir, don't start to dream of her. Just bid such thoughts be gone, or it'll be boom, 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 boom. From then on, for once in love with Amy, always in love with Amy, ever and ever fascinated by her, sets your heart afire to stay. Once you're kissed by Amy, tear up your list, it's Amy. Ply her with bonbons, poetry and flowers, moon a million hours away. You might be quite the fickle-hearted rover, so carefree and bold, who loves a girl and later thinks it over and just quits cold. But once in love with Amy, always in love with Amy, ever and ever sweetly you romance her. Trouble is, the answer will be that Amy'd rather stay in love with me.
Hey, Costello, come here. How did you get your clothes so dirty? Just look at your coat. It's torn and your shirt is ripped and...
That ain't my fault, Abbott.
What?
I was out on one of my Sam Shovel detective cases last night. I investigated a case of a robbery at the fraternity house in UCLA. But I miscalculated. Got into one of the girls' dormitories.
How did you manage to do that?
By careful miscalculation.
Costello, instead of running around nights on those silly Sam Shovel cases, you should stay home.
Oh, I do stay home a lot, Abbott. Every night last week I stayed home. I cleaned the house. I got a terrible servant problem. I find it very difficult to hold a maid.
Now, what makes it so difficult for you to hold a maid?
My mother keeps walking in the room.
Never mind that. I understand you took your brother Pat to the movies last night.
Oh, yes. But I ain't taking Pat to the movies no more. He acts very strange. The minute we got into the movie, Pat put his hat under the seat.
Well, what's strange about that? What's the men put their hat under the seat?
While their head is still in it.
Oh, talk sense. Hey, wait a minute. Come here. What is that big manuscript you're carrying under your arm?
Well, I didn't want to tell you, but it's a book that I wrote.
A book you wrote?
It's the first chapter. The hero is threatened by a mad doctor who tries to remove his head. In the second chapter, he meets a demented butcher who tries to put him in a meat grinder. Then it ends where three maniacs tie him to a tree and a squadron of wild woodpeckers peck holes in him. But nobody wants to publish it.
Why not?
I guess people are sick of them mushy love stories.
What is your Sam Shovel detective story about tonight?
Well, tonight I do one of my most famous cases. I call it the case of the photographer who was stuck up in a dark room, or he was caught with his prints down.
Well, sounds terrible, but let's do it.
And now, the makers of Bebop Bubble Bath present the adventures of Sam Shovel, Private Detective. But first, a word about our product, Bebop Bubble Bath. Friends, would you like bubbles in your bathtub? You would? Well, why not call up Bubbles and see if she needs a bath? Ladies, try Bebop Bubble Bath. We don't ask you to buy the large size, mind you. Just try a trial size package. It contains a 7-year supply. You'll find that if you use Bebop Bubble Bath every day for 7 years, you'll have skin just like a baby. A baby alligator. Listen to what people all over the country are saying about Bebop Bubble Bath. In Kansas.
Give me Bebop Bubble Bath.
In New Jersey.
Give me Bebop Bubble Bath.
In Oregon.
Give me Bebop Bubble Bath.
In Virginia.
Give me liberty or give me death.
That Patrick Henry never gives up. And now the makers of Bebop Bubble Bath bring you your favorite thriller mystery. Here he is, Sam Shovel, Private Detective.
Yes? I'm Sam Shovel. Sam Shovel, Private Detective. The detective business has been mighty slow lately. Last night, having nothing to do, I went to a big public library and buried my nose in a book. This morning, I had a heck of a job finding it. I forgot what book I buried it in. Here comes my secretary now.
Did you call me, Mr. Shovel?
Don't be silly. Why should I call you Mr. Shovel? My name is Mr. Shovel. By the way, Miss Jones, did you find the file on that crook Joe Kirk?
What's his name?
Who?
Joe Kirk.
Never heard of him. Miss Jones, you and I have got to work late in the office tonight. Are you prepared?
Oh, yes. I brought my brass knuckles, my fencing mask, and a baseball bat.
Clever girl. She's so stylish. She was voted one of the 10 best-dressed women in Azusa. That's not so remarkable when you consider there's only 9 other women in Azusa. Suddenly, the inter-office communication system buzzes. It's my secretary. She speaks.
Mr. Shovel, there are 2 men here to see you about a case. Mr. Cohen and Chief Lightfoot Running Deer.
I'll see the Indian first.
You can go in now, Mr. Cohen.
The cops have certainly got their hands full these days. Full of 5s, 10s, 20s. I think of my pal, Lieutenant Abbott of the Homicide Squad. Abbott has been on the police force for 20 years. He knows which side his bread is buttered on. He can take any piece of bread and say, this side is buttered.
Sam, I'm on the trail of Zeke, the hillbilly moonshiner, burglar.
Lieutenant Abbott, I'll be glad to help you. What do you want?
Well, you've seen Zeke. Give me a thumbnail description of him.
Well, he uses liquid polish, and his cuticles pushed way back.
Sam, I want you to go with me to the Ozarks. I've got to capture Zeke. It'll be a dangerous trip. Those hillbillies are strange people. They're always arguing, shooting and farming.
Yep, shooting, fighting, and fertilizing.
Come on, Sam, we're heading for the hill.
Lieutenant Abbott and I arrived in the hillbilly country.
Sam, these hillbillies are strange people, but you'll have to admit they're solid citizens. They've got both feet on the ground.
They've got to have both feet on the ground. They don't wear shoes. I read in the papers where a 75-year-old hillbilly wanted to marry a girl 9 years old.
Did he marry her?
Nope, his parents objected. They didn't want him marrying a girl who'd been divorced 3 times.
Wait a minute, Sam. Here comes a bunch of hillbillies. Let's ask them if they know where Zeke is.
Howdy, strangers. I'm Jim Hartfield. These here are my sons.
I'm Sam Shovel, the detective, and this is Lieutenant Abbott.
Boys, say hello to the strangers. Lem?
Do.
Clem? Bert?
Sir?
Bert went to military school.
I don't like the looks of these guys, Abbott. The skinny one has got an ear of corn and 2 pumpkins.
So what? They're farmers, and farmers have corn and pumpkins.
Thrown out of their heads?
Well, gotta go now. We're working on the farm. 2 weeks ago, we dug a hole. Last week, we dropped the seed in it. And today, we're going to cover it up.
Do you always work that hard?
Yeah. Except when the weather gets bad, then it slows us up a little. So long.
Boy, is that guy lazy. If he was a chicken, eggs and television sets would be the same price.
Never mind him, Sam. We've got to find Zeke, the moonshiner. Hey, look over there behind those bushes. There's Zeke's. There's Zeke. The moonshiner still. Come on.
Hey, look. There's Zeke. He's making corn liquor. He's jumping up and down on the corn, crushing it.
Hold on there, Zeke. We got you covered. You're under arrest. Stop mashing that corn with your feet. What are you doing?
I'm making some 90 proof corn liquor. And tomorrow I'm going to make some that's 100 proof.
How do you do that?
With that, I take off my shoes.
Zeke, how do you make that corn liquor?
Well, first I mash up the corn. Then I dump in a gallon of turpentine. Then a gallon of Clorox. And 2 quarts of juniper juice.
Don't you put no alcohol in it?
Why? Ruin the taste?
Zeke, we're taking you to jail. Sam, grab some of that moonshine for evidence. And you better taste it to make sure we got the right stuff.
Lieutenant Abbott, you know I never touch the stuff.
So you're a brave detective, eh? Sam Shovel, eh? Go ahead, you coward. Taste it. That stuff will grow hair on your chest.
He's only kidding, Sam. Go ahead and taste it.
Okay.
Don't stand there, Lieutenant. Pull a bobber. This hair is so thick I can't see where I'm going. Get me out of here!
Well, before Abbott and Costello have their final fling, we bring you one more thought on this subject.
Why don't you tell the folks about your next week's Sam Shovel story?
Folks, my ex-Sam Shovel story takes place in a chewing gum factory. I call it the case of the beautiful blonde who fell into a vat of soft gum, or there's good chews tonight.
Yes, and our writers are working on the case right now. Our writing staff is headed by Eddie Foreman with Paul Connell, Pat Costello, Martin Raggaway, and Len Stern.
And our producer is Charles Bandit. Be sure to be with us next Thursday night.
Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody in Patterson. Good night, come on.
Aunt May, Uncle Mike, Uncle Tom.
Listen each Thursday night at this time for another great Abbott and Costello show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood. Be sure to stay tuned for the outstanding entertainment which follows throughout the evening on this ABC station.
Sam Spade, detective.
Since the world began, woman was meant for man.
I must say, this is a sort of honeymoon night, Jim.
After you've been keeping something from me.
Oh, I wouldn't blame myself if I did. It didn't exactly telegraph this part.
Come on in, Angel, and I'll tell you as much about it as I think you should know.
And what, may I ask, is a large parcel with a pink ribbon around it?
Love letters, what else?
Oh, I must say, for a whirlpool romance.
Whirlpool?
I mean, writing all those letters. When did you find time to get acquainted?
Stop pulling at that blouse. What's the matter with it, eh?
Now that you're married, I'll say this is no longer cool. Well, Sam, these little routines will marry me. Don't you think we should be a little more stilted with each other, yeah?
In the hereafter? Then, perhaps, and not a minute before. To Sergeant Joseph Walsh, Bunko and Fugitive Detail, San Francisco Police. From you-know-who, license number 137596. Subject, Subject, the love letter caper, or how to be happily married, though single. The start of it was last Wednesday morning. I had just arisen, shaved, bathed, weighed myself on the bathroom scales, and decided on a breakfast of black coffee and rye crisp. Noisy stuff. Oh.
Postal delivery. Sign here.
Oh, now hold this, will you, Sonny?
Yeah, what do you call this? Some kind of Italian soda crackers?
Rye crisp, low in calories. Take a bite.
Oh,
You could
okay.
lose a pound or two yourself. There you are. Eat the change.
Thanks. I'll smoke it after dinner.
First thing that fell out of the envelope was a photograph, glamour type. It was inscribed, to Sam, body and soul, Ella. The letter was in the same tone of voice.
Sam. Oh, Sam, my darling. Last night was so beautiful, but now my arms are empty and I'm filled with strange fears for the future. Unless I see you soon, I don't know how I can go on living. Come to me tonight, my darling. Wait until the house is dark. Then slip in through the west gate and I'll meet you beside the fountain. If you fail me, I don't know what I'll do. But I know you won't. All my love, forever. Ella.
I read it over again, looked longingly at her picture, and shook my memory down. I couldn't even remember ever meeting a girl named Ella, but I did remember that last night was definitely not beautiful. In fact, I had dropped $35 in a blackjack game, not deductible. After I had tested the letter for invisible ink, codes, and ciphers, etc., with negative results, I decided it was either A, a crank letter, or B, bait, or C, a camouflaged call for help from a damsel in distress. I took another look at said damsel's photograph and decided I would investigate her distress. I then phoned my secretary and told her to look up the night bus schedule to Atherton, the return address on the envelope containing said love letter. It was around 11 p.m., and the moon was just clearing the treetops behind the Comstock mansion when I slipped in at the west gate for the instructions in Ella's love letter and took a plant beside the aforementioned fountain. The house was in darkness, and I didn't see the ladder until the moon cleared the chimney pot. There was a girl climbing down the ladder from the second story, and she had a suitcase in her hand. As she reached the ground, she looked around anxiously, spotted me, and flew into my arms.
Oh, Sam, my darling, you didn't fail me. Oh, my precious, hold me, never let me go. I love you.
I love you, too, but now
I'll
look.
explain it all later. We'll have to hurry. I think you suspected something.
Who suspected
Please,
what?
there isn't time. Come on. Oh, the horseman. We'll have to go out the back way. Come on.
Come back here. Hey, you.
Hey, hold it. Get down.
No, let me go. We got to get out of
I
here.
said get down.
Oh.
Shut up.
What's going on down there? Oh, a couple of fellas at the Comstock. They had a ladder up to the second story of the hall window. But I scared them off. Oh, not all. Well, let's have no more shooting. I'm trying to shoot.
Come on. It's our last chance. If you look in that room, I love you.
I love you. What room?
Wait, in my room, of course.
What are you planning on doing?
Anyway, just till I get away from him, I love you.
I love you. Who's him?
My uncle has been holding you prisoner in that house.
Oh, come now.
I tell you, he's insane. He'll kill us both if we're caught, so please, come on.
I went because A, I don't like being shot at, and B, there was a wild possibility that she was indeed a fairy princess on the lamb from a dragon. I discounted half a B when we reached her getaway car. It was parked in the alley with a motor running. When she insisted that I drive, I hesitated whether to head directly to police headquarters or nail her the stupid way. I was weak from being on a diet, so it was Hobson's choice, more familiarly known as Spade's folly.
What is this place?
It's where I live.
You wouldn't lie to me.
Not about that. Look at the address. Your love letter arrived here. Come on. Here, let me carry your bag.
No, it's all right. I'll carry it.
Come on. It's okay. No cops, no booby traps. Now, let's have a look at that suitcase.
No, you must
Come on. Give it to me.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because you got the wrong idea. Oh.
Well. What have we here?
I knew you'd get the wrong idea.
The only thing you seem to have missed is the Hope diamond.
That jewelry is mine, every piece of it. It's all I have in the world.
Poor kid. Let's see now. Diamond bracelet, not more than $10,000. Emerald necklace, second hand, of course. All told, I don't imagine this stuff will net you a penny more than $100,000.
I know, but I'll just have to get along as best I can. I don't have any money of my own.
Yeah, why did you write me that crazy love letter?
Because my uncle reads all my mail. And I didn't want him to know I was hiring a detective.
Why did you?
I couldn't very well walk around with all these jewels without some protection, could I? Oh, my uncle, he followed me here.
Suppose it's a cop.
Oh, no, it's he. I know it. Where can I hide?
In here?
Don't you have a bedroom?
Yeah, but it has a window and a fire escape in here. Go on. Go on, go on.
Spade?
Yeah.
I suppose she's told you about me.
You were uncle?
Oh, good heavens, no. I'm Stuart Mason. I'm her fiancé. Or was, till she ran away with you.
Maybe you'd better step inside, Mr. Mason.
Yes, sir?
Sit down. I'd like to...
No. I just brought a few things I'd like to leave for Ella. Here. This bundle of letters. Love letters to me. I suppose she'll want to destroy them.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Mason. Don't jump to any rash conclusions.
I saw her come down the ladder. I saw her throw herself into your arms.
Yeah, but...
I can't blame her. I've been a coward. I told myself it was for her own sake that I discouraged her from escaping with me. But now I know that, well, it was at least partly fear for myself. But I might die as the others did.
Yeah, but, what others?
The men she's known. They've all died under mysterious circumstances, and didn't she warn you?
Well, all she told me was that her uncle was insane and wouldn't let her out.
Crazy like a fox. As long as she remains unmarried, he controls her money. $3 million of it.
Uh-huh.
Well, only the brave deserve the fair. Alas. It will just give her these letters and tell her that
You tell her yourself. Come on out, Ella.
Stuart, why did you come here?
Your letters, my dear. And I wish you every happiness.
Stuart.
You too, old man. Good night.
Stuart, darling, I can explain everything.
Don't try, my dear.
Stuart, come back.
Hey, Ella, your jewelry. Your love letters.
Hey, we'll take care of those letters, Spade. Keep the gun on him, Riley. Inside, you. Over there, sweetheart.
What do you want?
Mr. Spade, I've been aware for some time that you've been carrying on a surreptitious love affair with my niece.
Look, Mr. Comstock.
What's him, Riley? Don't worry, Mr. Comstock. I advise you against trying to jump him, Spade.
Why should I? You're both nuts, but not crazy enough to take a shot at me here.
Try me and see.
I wouldn't waste the energy. I haven't made a penny on this caper so far, and it doesn't look like I will.
Ha! Not a penny, he says. The king's ransom in jewels extorted from a foolish, lovesick girl.
Oh, how did I manage that?
Don't you play the innocent with me. This packet of love letters will satisfy the police. Blackmail.
You're crazy. Those letters weren't written to me.
You deny that Ella has ever written your letter?
One too many. In fact, one.
Well, how do you explain these? Darling Sam. Sam, my dearest one.
What?
Sam, my great, big, beautiful detective. Dated last October.
Hey, let me see those things.
I told you not to move.
Yeah, so you did. Well, what now?
Very well. Give me the police department. Yes, it is. Hello? This is Hugo Comstock. I want to make a complaint. Blackmail. Oh. Hello. I want to... Yes, Sergeant. The name is Hugo Comstock, and I'm making this complaint on the behalf of my niece, Miss Ella Comstock. The name of the offender is Samuel Spade, a private detective. Huh? Well, of course I'm sure. Yes, I'm holding him at his apartment now. The address is... Oh, you have it. Well, I'm not surprised. You better hurry over here, right away. He's threatening violence.
You really think you can make that stick?
Mr. Spade, I'm sure I can.
Dirty words and foul imprecations were forming on my trembling lips. But he had letters from his niece to one Sam, a great, big, beautiful detective. And I had the jewels, and before the night was over, Sergeant Walsh, you had me. Booked, bothered, and bewildered. What bewildered me was how to raise the $2,500 bail. Sam Spade, innocent dope. Dupe.
The United States Armed Forces Radio Service is presenting the weekly adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade.
Up the Times to my breakfast of rude prison fare. They didn't serve any rye crisp, but what they did serve was even less fattening. I thrust my emaciated arms through the bars of my cell and clawed at the lapels of a passing bondsman and begged him for succor. He says I didn't need any because I was it. I hurled him aside and sat down to think. About then, you, Sergeant Walsh, hove to in front of my cell.
Okay, Sam, get moving. You're free.
Gee, thanks. Who stood my bail?
Great kidder, aren't you?
Sergeant, am I to understand that the charges have been dropped?
Get out of here.
All right, I know when I'm not wanted. Mine not the reason why.
And don't come back.
Your inhospitable words cut me to the quick, Sergeant, but I bit my lip, swallowed my pride, very low calorie, and strode bravely out into the sunlight a free man. I fought until I bought a newspaper. Right there on page 1, it said, Heiress reveals secret marriage to private detective. Blackmail charges against Sam Spade dropped. All a mistake, says Uncle. Next to the item was a picture of Ella leaning over a hot stove in my kitchen. It was captioned, Surprise Bride Prepares Breakfast for Incarcerated Mate. We'll keep things hot for him, says Mrs. Spade.
Sam, darling, your breakfast is ready.
I'm on a diet. Take off that apron and sit
I
down.
did it for your sake, Sam, darling.
Wouldn't it have been simpler just to have dropped the
Oh,
charges?
it wasn't difficult. The nicest man forged the license and the certificate for only $10.
I know a guy who would have done it for $5 and thrown in some fingerprints for free, but that's not the point.
Darling, don't you see? If you'd just gone free without being married to me, Uncle Hugo might have done something worse for you. Like kill you.
Nuts. Who are these ex-admirers of yours that were supposed to have been knocked off by your uncle? Name 3.
Well, there was Ralph Bettington. He died of vapor loss.
Of what?
It happened in the mountains. Something went wrong with his car, but they couldn't prove it because it blew up and burned after it went over the cliff. And then there was poor Freddie Poor. They called him the piggy bank suicide.
Why?
He found $5 worth of pennies in his stomach.
Oh.
And then there was poor Nicky Nato. He was a ballet dancer.
That's enough. Now about those letters. Why was your friend Mason returning love letters you'd written to some detective named Sam?
Well, that was just coincidence. He always went by his initials, you know, like GBS for George Bernard Shaw, SAM is for Stuart Andrew Mason. Stuart Andrew is his pen name. He writes detective stories.
And the rest of the coincidence was that love letter you inadvertently mailed to Sam Spade Detective, thereby sending your uncle out gunning for Sam instead of SAM?
What should I do after he read my diary and my confessions to myself about SAM? And the references to his brilliant mind on criminal subjects. You were a natural stand-in for SAM.
Pronounced SAP.
But I wasn't going to, Sam. Not after I met you.
Why not?
Because the moment I saw you, I knew that all those things I'd said in that love letter were really true.
Really? Last night was so beautiful?
I think I must have dreamed of you.
Exactly.
Oh, Sam, darling, I'm so lost and frightened.
Yeah.
You don't know what my life has been.
Oh, I can imagine. Boyfriend's dropping dead right and left.
You're the only one who can stop it. If Uncle Hugo thinks we're really married and he can't use my money anymore, then he'll stop having accidents happen to people. Won't you please be my husband, Sam? Is that so much to ask after what I did to you?
Yeah. Go on. You spring me out of that blackmail frame so I can help you compound a felony.
But, Sam, what am I going to do?
You forge the marriage, go forge the divorce.
Where are you going?
Back to jail. I'll see you there.
Oh, dear me. It's your foot, is it? Cast iron. Don't make them like that nowadays.
My foot.
Yes, your foot. I meant the strong box.
Oh.
Coming in or going out?
I think I'll sit down for a minute.
Oh, Sam, you poor dear boy. Here, let me take off your shoes so it can swell if it wants.
Get away from me.
I only wanted to help. I love you.
Well, I don't love you anymore.
Oh, first little fat, is it?
Who is this guy?
Oh, Sam, I'm sorry. This is Curtin.
You can say that again.
Curtin. Harwood L. Curtin. L for Lacey. Attorney at law. I represent the estate of the late Gertrude Comstock, Ella's mother. You, Mr. Spade, had married into, shall we say, money.
Look, Curtis, it's time to raise the blinds on a couple of things. In the first place...
As you know, Ella, your grandfather, the late Commodore Ezra Comstock, left his fortune to be divided equally between his legitimate heirs, that is, your mother and your Uncle Hugo. Upon your mother's death, the residue of her part of the estate was left to be administered by your Uncle Hugo as he saw fit until your marriage, at which time it should go to you.
Well, where is it?
Yeah.
All in good legal size. First, here is this old strong box.
Strong box?
Containing family mementos handed down to you from your grandmother. It was your mother's wish that this be delivered into your hands upon this auspicious occasion. Here is the key, in addition to which I leave with you both my best wishes for your future happiness. Good day. Mr. Spade, I shall forward along to you the statement of my fees for services in this city.
Wait a minute. Who's paying my fee?
No more questions, please. Good day.
Well, I guess we might as well open it.
Oh, I'm crazy.
Oh, no. Let's see what's in here.
All right. Yes. It didn't take long to go through Grandma Comstock's mementos, and I got more and more wide awake as we went along. The strong box contained 4 items: a teapot, a bundle of letters, a photograph album, and a family skeleton. The letters were love letters from one Elmo Pinckney. There was a tin side that said Pinckney in the album. He was a dead ringer for Uncle Hugo, which might have been a coincidence, but wasn't. I started scanning through the love letters.
Find any money yet?
Huh? Well, there's a Confederate 10 spot. I'll let you know if I hit any pay dirt.
Well, at least he left me a pot to make tea in.
What?
But if there wasn't any money, why wouldn't Uncle Hugo let me get married?
Now, look, why don't you go and wash out that pot and make some tea, huh?
Probably leaked. Oh, something in it.
Hmm?
No money. His grandmother's marriage certificate and Mother's and Uncle Hugo's birth certificate.
Let's see those.
Oh, it's cracked. I might have known. I wonder who that is.
That will be your Uncle Hugo.
Well, that doesn't need to worry us anymore, does it?
Yeah, put these things back in the teapot and put the teapot on the mantelpiece.
But it's cracked.
So am I, so do it anyway. Come right in, Uncle Hugo. You too, Cousin Riley, you fool.
Very funny. Now, don't be silly, Riley. Well, accept your poor old uncle's blessing on this happy occasion.
I don't want your blessing, Uncle Hugo. You're a mean old man, and you killed all my fiancés.
Well, it appears that Mr. Clifton's has already brought you a legacy. I believe I recognize your grandmother's strongbox. Mementos of a strange romantic chapter in the history of a great family, Mr. Spade. You who have joined that family so unexpectedly will have a privilege that even I was never granted.
Oh, how come?
My mother was a strange woman in some ways.
I'm sure she was.
I suppose we shall never know what prompted us to leave these personal oddments to Ella's mother, nor why my late sister chose to keep their contents a secret from me. I don't suppose I might be allowed to just a peek into that Pandora's box.
Go ahead, help yourself.
Really? Well, there's nothing but a photograph album and a bundle of letters.
Love letters, Uncle Hugo. They seem to run in your family. Would you like to read them?
You have no objection, Ella.
Me?
Why should she have? And I can give the whole story to you in a nutshell, Uncle Hugo. It seems that Grandma Comstock fell in love with a handsome rascal named Pinckney, a deserter from the Confederate Army, and eloped with him to New Orleans. The family pursued her there, had Pinckney arrested, got an annulment, and whisked her back home in time for her scheduled wedding to Ezra Comstock. These letters were written to her by Pinckney while he languished in prison awaiting court-martial. Here's the last one. Read it for yourself.
Oh. Lydia, my darling, in a few hours I face a firing squad. Please, no tears, no regrets. I'm glad that you are married to a man who is worthy of you. Comstock will be a better father for our child than I would ever have been. Farewell, my love. So that was the secret. Nothing so extraordinary about that.
I think it's very tragic. Think of her married to a man she didn't love, about to have a child, and her lover facing a firing squad.
Nonsense. Sentimental nonsense.
What do you know about such things?
I should know a little. After all, I was that child.
Oh, I'm sorry, Uncle Hugo.
Ah, wow. Fine old piece of gold.
What?
This teapot. I don't remember seeing this here before.
Just something I picked up in a junk shop.
It's a very rare piece. You mind if I look at the mark?
Go ahead.
Indeed. Genuine example. Pity crack. Oh! Now, that was clumsy of me. Well, it's no good saving the pieces. I'll just toss them in the fire.
Wait a minute, Comstock. I'll take care of it.
Oh, it's no trouble. Well, what's this?
It's your birth certificate, Uncle Hugo.
Give me that.
Oh, no.
What are you going to do with it?
Put it back where it came from.
Riley. Yeah, Mr. Comstock. Spade, I'm going out of here, and I'm taking that strongbox with me. And don't think I won't kill you to get it.
He will, Sam, just as he did the others.
And you, too, if you don't shut your trap. Hand it over, Spade.
Sure. Come and get it.
Okay, let's have it.
There you are.
Riley, what's wrong with you? Oh, my foot is broken. Oh!
Sit down and rest it.
Oh!
Hold it, Comstock. I got the gun now.
Well, Spade, seems you've won the day. How does it feel to be a rich man?
You'll have to tell me, Comstock. The reports of my marriage to your niece are slightly exaggerated. And that's about it, Sergeant. I'm sorry I can't furnish you with the forged papers Ella used to back up that phony story of her marriage to me. A fire broke out in a wastebasket, and I accidentally dropped them into it. As for Comstock and his Gunsel Riley, I will gladly press charges against them on the blackmail frame until homicide decides whether it has a case against him on the mysterious deaths of Ella's previous fiancé. Period. End of report.
But, Sam, why?
Why what, Ed?
Did he want that old crack teapot?
Well, because grandmother's love letters plus the documents on that teapot prove that Hugo was not a Comstock, but a Pinckney, and hence not entitled to one red penny of the Comstock fortune, which was left, if you recall, to Grandpa's legitimate heir.
Well, who was? Entitled, I mean.
Ella, but if she never married, she'd never find out,
But
you
she
see.
doesn't deserve it.
Hmm?
After making a pigeon out of you the way she did.
I agree, sweetheart, but how else could she afford to pay my fee?
Well, I certainly hope you so.
I fully intend to. Go type that up while I falsify an expense account.
Did you finish yours?
No, still a couple of fingers in there. Break out another glass.
No, I meant the expense account.
Oh, that. Well, it was nothing much, just bus fare. Free breakfast in the Pokies? No, that was easy.
Well, I took the liberty, Sam, of drawing up a statement. Did you look it over?
Yeah. New letterhead.
Well, it's only a sample I have done in
Huh?
sending your approval. Do you?
Well, yes, very classy. I like the coat of arms, but I'm not quite sure about the motto.
Oh, but Sam, you are the greatest private detective of them all.
You know, that's Effie.
And then, for an extra $100, we could have it printed in Raby ink.
In what?
Luminous ink, Sam. Shines in the dark.
Even as you and I.
Oh, Sam. I'm glad you told the hospital.
Go home, all the same.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, sweetheart. The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Steer. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. The Adventures of Sam Spade, Private Detective, is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin. Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Quote the Raven, nevermore.
Yes.
This is me.
Is this Mr. Spade?
Yes, but is this Miss Perrine?
Oh, yes, but
Why are you eating a peanut butter sandwich at this time of night?
why the allusion to Poe's Raven? Was your assignment among the literati?
It certainly was. There was Rowena from Ivanhoe, a lost Lenore, a no-place Ralph, and a Horace from the car off with the same name.
How distinguished.
Have you got a cold, F?
No.
Well, then there was a carnivorous plant, a hideous meat-eating specimen of the botanical world, trying to take 2 fingers off me.
Well, I've got 3 fingers all poured out for you here.
Ah, pretty hep. I can see you intend to be terribly amusing tonight. But even so, I intend to come right down and dictate my report on a stopped watch caper or time stood still.
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talents to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. Well, in a few weeks, many of us will be going bareheaded now and then, meaning we'll have to pay more attention than ever to the appearance of our hair.
The best way I know to always keep your hair in trim is to use Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair neatly and naturally, removes loose dandruff, and relieves dryness, which may be even more prevalent when your hair is exposed directly to the wind and sun. So right away, get the 25-cent get-acquainted bottle of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in the adventures of Sam Spade.
That's a mighty sharp routine you give a Perrine on the phone.
Where's Effie? Who are you?
Sam, don't you remember me? Buffy.
Certainly not. I never saw... Buffy, wait a minute. Do I sense a certain family resemblance? No, you can't be Effie's little sister, Buffy.
Yes.
Big girl now.
But thanks anyway for the Tinker toys you sent me last Christmas.
I'd kill myself.
I intend to start having children of my own just as soon as it's practical.
Where's that, Buff?
She had to go to L.A. to visit a sick friend.
A likely story.
No, really.
Chapter and verse, please.
St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank. They went to school together, and her name is Lorene Tuttle. She's an actress.
Yes, I know. A very fine actress. Is it serious?
I hope not for Effie's sake. They're very close.
Yeah. Well, what now? You take shorthand, Buff?
Sort of.
Spoken like a true Perrine. Come on in.
Oh, I hope it's good and gruesome.
I take it back.
I meant the caper, not what you're drinking.
Okay, Buff, you win. Ready?
Why not?
Date April 10, 1949 to Deputy Sheriff Bill Whittington, Marin County Sheriff's Office, San Rafael, California, from Samuel Spade, license number...
37596.
Oh, steady listener. Subject, the stopped watch caper. Dear Bill, here's how it turned out, and if I ever phone you for advice again, I'll take it because you were right. She was loaded.
What about those threatening letters, Sam? Don't give them another thought. Old Lady Raven's had me up there a dozen times the last 6 weeks. She got threatening letters, she got prowlers, but when I got there, she can't find the letters, and the way that house is tucked away in the woods, I don't think a prowler could find it.
How do I find it, Bill?
The Gray Line bus goes right by the gate. Montana Ballard Road, about 3 miles east out of Rock Spring.
Oh, that sounds pretty rugged. You, say she's a crank.
But she's got money, Sam.
Oh, the poor old soul.
And she got a niece.
Oh?
Yeah. Over 23, but she's stacked.
The old lady's loaded, the niece is stacked. Who else lives there?
Well, there's a butler. Somebody flattened his head when he was young, and he wears bangs to call attention to it. Sort of shuffles around the house. But you ought to see him out in the woods chasing them old ground squirrels. Quick as a deer hound. Yeah, and
Never mind. You sold me. All these marvels I have got to see. It was only 3 p.m. when I skulked in through the gates of Ravenswood, but it was so dark the hooty owls hadn't gone to bed yet. The fog snaked in and out through the dripping trees, long, chill ribbons of ghastly fog borne on a sobbing wind. I mushed on into the deepening gloom of the forest primeval. After 10 minutes of that, I began to wonder if there was any house there. When I saw it, I still wondered. It looked more like a fungus growth. Speak of English?
It is chilly, isn't it, sir? Won't you come in?
Sure, why not? Yes, I expected that.
If you'll be so kind as to wait here, sir, I'll inform Miss Rowena of your arrival.
Thank you, Jimmy Stewart.
Morris, who's out there? Is it the man with the hemlock? Answer me, you brute. Where is it?
Did you say hemlock?
Oh, you must be my aunt's detective. Spade, was it?
It is, right.
I'm Ralph Raven. Come along with me, Spade. I have something interesting to show you.
Ralph Raven was the one member of the household you hadn't described to me, and no wonder. The wasted figure that looked up at me from the wheelchair was more like a ghost than a man. His face was chalk white. So white it seemed almost luminous, and the skin clung so close to his skull there seemed to be no flesh beneath it.
and his wide, staring eyes looked like 2 cups of black coffee on a snow-white tablecloth. I followed him into a glass-enclosed room only slightly larger than the garden court at the plaza. The humidity was several points higher than the dripping woods, and the temperature was several degrees lower. But the plants he had growing there seemed to thrive on it. As I edged nervously through the dense, quivering foliage, I noticed a strange-looking yellow-green pod, about the size of a milk bottle at the end of a long, tubular stem. It leaned over, opened its red mouth, and said, "Hey, what is that thing?"
Oh, that's my Sarracenia gigantosa. Meat eater. Carnivorous plant. Don't be frightened. I just fed it.
Don't tell me.
You know what it eats?
Acts like it needs a dose of bicarb.
No, perfectly healthy. Merely part of the digestive process. Even as you and I.
Not me.
But over here, you're a detective. These plants should interest you. Oh, don't touch that mandrake.
Never thought of it.
It won't cry out. No vocal cords.
Oh, I see.
Very sensitive.
Oh, sensitive.
And deadly poison.
Oh.
And see here? These pretty purple blossoms?
Yes, very pretty.
Source of an alkaloid poison favored by the Borgias. And these, white hellebore.
Watch your language.
I use it in compounding veratria. A poison so ancient it would probably go undetected in the police laboratories of today.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a charming one. Both a killer and a medicine. Belladonna. Oh, deadly nightshade. Source of atropine.
Mm-hmm.
And this, commonly known as Nux vomica,
Well.
produces not one but 2 deadly poisons. The well-known strychnine and the rare and not easily detectable brucine.
Yeah, well, it's quite a hobby, Mr. Raven.
It's not a mere hobby, Mr. Spade. It's a practical science. All the plants in this conservatory have their fatal properties, and all have played a role in the great kinds of history. Did my aunt get another threatening letter?
So she says.
Odd that she should fear death at her age, and odd that she should hire a bodyguard. How does she know how it'll come? It might be poison.
Speaking of poison, brother dear, it's time for your medicine.
Oh, Spade, my sister, the lost Lenore.
How do you do, Mr. Spade?
How do you do?
Here, Ralph, drink up.
Why does it always have to be in milk? Hey, look here, it's not time anyway. Oh, this confounded watch has stopped again. Spade, what time do you have?
Why, it's 3, that's funny. My watch has stopped, too. I didn't know then what that meant. In fact, if you look on the last page of this report, Deputy dear, you'll see that the stopwatch was the key to the whole puzzle. I protest that my failure to realize its significance at that moment had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that my client's niece, Lenore Raven, was, as you so roguishly put it, stacked. About there, Boris, the butler, bobbed up and beckoned me from the balustrade. I followed him upstairs and was ushered into the austere and regal presence of my client, Rowena Raven.
That will be all, Boris.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Boris, I just remembered.
Yes, madam.
There on the occasional table, my watch. I want you to take it around to the watchmakers in the morning. It's on the fritz again.
Yes, madam.
Mr. Spade, I must apologize for keeping you waiting.
Oh, it's all right.
My watch hasn't been keeping proper time ever since those threatening letters started. Could that be a clue, Mr. Spade?
Maybe we'd better start with the letters, Mrs. Raven.
I can't find them anywhere. I think that young man from the sheriff's office must have pinched him.
Bill Woodington? Oh, I'm sure not.
Well, all the same, it's very odd that every time he comes here, he can't find them.
Well, where did you put them, Mrs. Raven?
Right there on the occasional table.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Raven, sometimes people have very vivid dreams.
Huh?
Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with their minds or anything like that.
You talk just like Dr. Slosser. That young sawbones my niece sent around looked at my sciatica. Sciatica's nothing but a pain. How can you look at it? It's a lot of bull.
Yeah. What did the letters say, Mrs. Raven?
That's why I wondered about my watch, Mr. Spade. The letters always contain some reference to time. Your time is running out. Beware when time moves slowly. Soon it may stop altogether.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. You think there could be a connection? I mean, has someone been tampering with my watch? The repairman doesn't know what's causing it to lose.
Yeah, did he think it might have been tampered with?
No. He thought it was something in the mountain. Magnetism or something.
Well, that sounds logical.
That's
Now,
a lot of hooey. I lived here 40 years and my watch never lost a minute. Something in the mountain, my eye. Something in this house, more like, or somebody. You ask me, he's not half so sick as he pretends to be.
Your nephew?
Uh-huh. What do you think?
Well, I think he's a very sick man.
No wonder. Sitting in that damp conservatory day after day, pottering over those fiendish, poisonous plants. You see the one that eats mice and hamburgers?
Yes, I did. What's supposed to be the matter with your nephew, Mrs. Raven?
Oh, he was in an auto accident. Injured his neck. He had to remove part of a gland or something.
His neck.
But Dr. Slaughter says he's in good condition aside from that. And if he takes his medicine faithfully, there's no reason why he should... Come in!
Ah, Mrs. Raven, how is that pain this afternoon?
Worse, thank you. Dr. Slaughter is Mr. Spade.
Ah, yes. The detective you engaged to investigate those letters you've been receiving.
Mr. Spade thinks it's an inside job. Don't you, Mr. Spade?
Well, that depends on what you mean by an inside job.
There, you see?
Inside that romantic imagination of yours, my dear lady. Hold still now while I give you your shot.
I loathe being jabbed.
Oh. Now. That wasn't so bad, was it?
Can I look now?
How is Ralph getting on, Doctor?
Not well, I'm afraid. He doesn't seem to be responding to the... Mrs. Raven, what is it?
Poison. You poisoned me.
The cry she uttered was only half as terrible as the expression on her pain-contorted face. She pitched forward in her chair with both fists clenched and shaking as if in anger at the doctor standing before her. He put down the empty hypodermic on the occasional table.
Yeah. Help me carry her to the couch.
Yeah, sure.
Take away that pillow. She must lie perfectly flat. There. That's better now. She's relaxing.
I'm dying. There was poison in that needle.
Please, Mrs. Raven, it was only sedative to make you sleep.
Sleep. The time is running out.
Poor woman. Malignant condition. Only a matter of time.
Does she know?
That she has only a short time to live? Oh, yes. Well, I have another call. Do you have the time my watch seems to have stopped?
Another one.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing. I left my watch at home.
Oh, well,
Ludwig, something terrible is happening.
Your aunt is sleeping.
You'd better come down to the conservatory right away. Ralph is in terrible pain.
What kind of pain?
He keeps saying he's been poisoned.
What? Well, come along. Take that hypo to the kitchen door and sterilize it.
Where is it?
On the table there.
He stopped in his tracks. His mouth fell open, and he gaped at the tabletop where he put down the hypodermic. In its place, it appeared two items. An old-fashioned lady's watch and a note written in green ink. The note said, "Time must have a stop." I picked up the watch and held it to my ear. You guessed it. It wasn't ticking. I had a hunch my client wasn't either. And I was right.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. Now, here's important news on good grooming. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead, socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? The results were amazing. Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. Remember, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil contains lanolin. It grooms the hair naturally, relieves dryness, and removes loose, ugly dandruff. So if you want your hair to be more attractive than ever before, get the generous new 25-cent size of Wild Root Cream Oil, America's leading hair tonic, on sale at all drug and toilet goods counters. It's also available in larger economy bottles and the handy new tube. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too, and mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. Get Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. And now, back to the stopped watch keeper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
Ralph, where are you?
Where did you leave me?
Hey, wait. Over here.
Oh, Spade. Keep them away from me.
Ralph, I came as soon as I could. Tell me your symptoms.
No. I phoned for another doctor. He's on his way now. Spade, my aunt. Take me to her. I must tell her.
Tell her what?
I'm afraid we have some bad news for you, Ralph. Your aunt is dead.
Oh, so you poisoned her, too.
Ralph, you're sick. You don't know what you're saying. She's been to every specialist in the country. They all said the same thing.
They all said she was good for another 3 months.
My dear boy, in these cases, any doctor's guess is as bad as the next.
No.
Please, Ralph, you're very sick. Please let Ludwig examine you. If it's what you think, the other doctor may be too late.
Why not? Why should I fear death?
That's better. Now let me see your eyes. So. Open the mouth. So.
What is it? What is it?
He's right. It is poison.
You see?
My dear.
Yes?
When you sterilized that needle for Ralph's shot this morning, did you pick up the wrong bottle?
Of course not.
Strange. Very strange. But don't worry, Ralph. There's a very simple antidote.
Oh, thank heaven.
You should, my dear. Indeed you should.
And that was that, Deputy dear. 2 doctors and the county coroner took one look at my late client's medical history and decided on death due to natural causes. I didn't think so, and neither did you.
So there really were threatening letters.
I saw one.
You sure now, Sam?
Sure, I'm sure.
Where'd you say it was?
On the occasional table.
Yeah. What was you doing when it wasn't a table?
Not occasionally, occasional.
Oh, just any old table.
No, Bill, get this. It's real deep. An occasional table is a table that a woman picks up at a bargain and puts into a room under the mistaken impression that it may come in handy someday. Mrs. Raven used hers as a catch-all for her unanswered correspondence, threatening letters included.
And what happened to the one you saw?
I don't know. I put it right here in my coat pocket along with a watch. It just disappeared.
Well, that might be tampering with evidence.
Listen, Bill, things were disappearing from that table almost as fast as other things showed up.
Yeah, sounds like pack rat.
You follow that up, Bill. I'm going to pack up and rat out of here.
Now look, Sam.
My client's dead. It's officially okay. I haven't made a penny out of the caper, and now I'm not likely to. So, do you give me a lift back to the toll gate, or do I hitchhike?
There's your answer. Come on.
When we reached the second bedroom, whence the scream had come, we found the lost Lenore looking well found and something comfortable. She standing center stage, regarding herself with horror in a full-length mirror. She looks awful pale, Bill. You better go downstairs and get some ice water. She might faint.
You think so?
Yeah, hurry up. I'll stay here and keep up her circulation in case anything happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Beat it.
Oh, it's you, Sam. I thought...
You thought what?
Look, I found these on my pillow.
One watch, one threatening letter. Whose watch?
Mine. I left it on the dressing table when I went in to cream my face. When I came out, somebody had slipped this under.
On the dressing table?
No, under my pillow.
You said on your pillow.
I meant under. On. I don't know what I mean. What are you trying to do to me?
Just trying to get things straight.
But the note. Look at it. It's exactly the same as the one he left in my aunt's room.
Why do you say he?
Oh, I don't know. Yes, I do. It's because I don't trust Ludwig. Dr. Schlosser.
That figures. He doesn't trust you either.
When he pretended to think I might have picked up the wrong bottle. Oh, he was acting. Couldn't you see?
You're not doing a bad job yourself.
I'm not acting, not anymore. Listen to me. Listen. He's acted strangely ever since I foolishly said I'd marry him.
I would myself.
Oh, Sam, darling, don't joke. I don't mean like that.
How did you meet him?
He got me out of a jam once. The accident, when my brother was hurt. I went for a doctor, and he happened to be the nearest one. Well, I'd been drinking, and he took over, and he sent me home before the police arrived at the scene.
Didn't Ralph know?
He blanked out. He doesn't know to this day. But Ludwig never forgot. He forced me to recommend him to my aunt. He got into her good graces, practically moved into the house. Then he pretended to make love to me.
Pretended?
He didn't care about me till he found out about my aunt didn't have long to live. He knew half her money would come to me. Sam, do you think he poisoned my aunt?
Officially, she died from natural causes.
But you said she spoke about being poisoned. And Ralph, too.
What's that medicine you give him, the nook?
I don't know. It's a prescription, just some drops that come in a metal container.
Where do you keep those drops?
Here in my room. I have to hide them. They make Ralph feel so much better. He used to overdose when the doctor trusted him to dose himself.
Let me see that medicine.
It's just here in this cabinet. Here it is. It's
Don't tell me. It's empty.
There was a glass bottle inside the container.
Small but heavy. Lead yet. Hey, what are you doing with that gadget? The thing with the dials and the speedometer.
Oh, that's something medical. I have to make a test on Ralph every day to see how he's getting along.
You know what that actually is?
Yes, I do. It detects anemia.
Well, I wouldn't know about that, but a Geiger counter is generally used to detect something else.
Well, what are you going to do with it?
I'm going prospecting for that missing medicine.
Ah, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you. I'm afraid I have bad news for you, Lenore.
Ralph?
My diagnosis was correct. Pernicious anemia.
Dead.
What is that you are carrying, Mr. Spade?
Oh, nothing special, Doctor. Just an old Geiger counter.
Lenore, did you let him take it?
said he was going to use it to find Ralph's medicine.
What happened to Ralph's medicine?
I don't know. It's just gone.
Mr. Spade, that machinery is my property. I must ask you to hand it over.
No gun necessary, Doctor. Here, take it.
Take your gun, too, sir. Lenore carries the machine this way. Walk ahead of us. First, we try the conservatory.
He was an amateur with a gun, but I didn't jump him for it because I'm an amateur with a Geiger. I did notice that the indicator on the dial got nervous the minute we walked into the conservatory. Ralph Raven's body was still in the wheelchair, no paler in death than in life. His sightless eyes were fixed on that obscene plant. The plant looked sick, too. It was drooping, and his red mouth was hanging open. As we walked past the wheelchair, the indicator on the dial of the Geiger counter moved forward and then slipped back again. Then it took a sudden big jump.
Ah, so that's what his hiding place. The maw of that disgusting carnivorous plant. Well, it's not pleasant, but there's only one way to get it. Don't move, either one of you. My eye is on you. Yes. Yes, it's here.
At first, I thought the plant had bitten him. But then he pulled his hand out, and I saw what had happened. There was a hypodermic outfit stuck in the heel of his hand. It surprised him no end, but he still managed to hold on to that gun. He swung it away from me and was holding it on Lenora.
You knew?
No. No, I didn't.
You must have. Ralph knew. He must have told you.
No, I swear I didn't.
What do you think I did this for? To die and leave you behind? To enjoy the money I got for you? No, you will come with me.
Oh, no, you don't know what you're doing. There's someone
Shut up.
What are you looking at? What's behind me?
Don't bother rushing, Sam. I've got it.
Hold it, Bill.
Yeah. How's that for shooting, Sam?
Yeah. You find a bullet hole in him, Bill, and I'll call it good. And that, Deputy dear, is the crop. And it's all carnivorous. In case you're still wondering what dropped him when your shots missed, it was the poison in that hypodermic needle which Ralph had planted there for that very purpose and then baited the trap for the all-important missing medicine. Later on, I learned that what the doctor had been feeding him was the right medicine for what ailed him, an isotope of iodine. It seems it's radioactive like uranium, but if you take too much of it, you die. Not of poisoning, but of pernicious anemia, which is how the doctor planned for Ralph to die. It also magnetizes watches so they don't keep the right time. And if they're cheap ones, like mine, they may stop altogether. Period, and a report. Got all that, Buffy?
I got it, Sam, but I don't get it.
Buffy, people have studied all their lives to learn about atomic stuff like isotopes, and you expect me to teach you everything in one easy lesson.
Oh, no, Sam, I know about that. But who killed who?
Whom, dear? The doctor killed everyone, but Ralph loaded the needle.
Then they were accomplices?
No, Buff, get this. It's real shallow. Ralph knew there was no way in the world to prove that the doctor was killing him and hastening his aunt's demise, so he saw to it that she got a dose of detectable poison and did himself the same favor. Oh. Now, like a good girl, go type that up,
And now, listen to this. More and more millions agree every day. Wild Root Cream Oil has become America's favorite hair tonic because of the neat, natural way it grooms the hair. Because of the quick, easy way it relieves dryness and removes loose dandruff. Get non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil with lanolin right away. And ask your barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too.
I certainly hope that butler was brought to justice.
What for, his dialect?
No, for helping to deliver the threatening letters and then stealing off the occasional table.
A brilliant deduction. How did you deduce?
Sam, that's the kid. If Ralph was too ill to walk, then somebody had to push him upstairs in a wheelchair.
Now, wouldn't it have been easier just to carry him?
That's how he did it?
Or just go up himself?
That's how.
Possibly, and then again, we may never know. But do we care?
Yes. I hate loose ends, Sam.
Then keep it up.
Good night, Sam.
Spoken like a true Marine, so I'll say to you, good night, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Adventures of Sam Spade are written for radio by Bob Tallman and Gil Dowd. Musical direction by Lud Gluskin, with score composed by Renee and Pierre Garrigan. Join us again next Sunday when author Dashiell Hammett and producer William Spear join forces for another adventure with Sam Spade. Brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men and women and children, too. This is Dick Joy reminding you to get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with soothing lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Baldy. Get Wild Root right away. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.